Right then, boys. If we're going to be doing a course about life setup, doesn't it make sense to have some great life setup? So, first things first, like any course, we're going to have to do the mindset section. I'm sorry guys, but it is free. And this one is actually useful. So, first of all, happiness versus pleasure. And a lot of people don't grasp this concept. They don't understand how it works. Happiness is a sustained state of mind, and pleasure is very much just like, it's a one-off day, it's a one-off event, it's something that, you know, you can get quickly, it's something that doesn't last. And you know, like, you could go and rent like a Lamborghini for the day and just drive it around Dubai and you're like, oh my god, I'm so happy. Nah, you're not. You're just experiencing temporary pleasure. It means that however you're feeling however you were feeling prior is just gonna come back afterwards. You're just gonna resort back to that at some point. And people forget this and they get happiness and pleasure confused. That's the first thing that you guys need to do. If you want good life setup, you need to understand how it's gonna work, why it's gonna work, the mindset behind it. Because, you know, if you're just constantly chasing the next buzz, all you're gonna be doing is going out, getting drunk. You're gonna be going to clubs. You're gonna be doing, like, you're gonna think the life setup is like a skydive. You're gonna think the life setup is like, you're gonna think it's like getting the next woman and the next woman and the next woman, and it's just like, that's not it, man. That's not the aim of the game. That's not how you accomplish all of this stuff. The way that you do it is by creating a state of mind rather than instant pleasure from different things on repeat. So just first and foremost, guys, please just get that through your head, because it will ultimately destroy you if you don't. Next up is you have to understand the concept of effectiveness versus perceived value. And how can I break this down for you guys to really get this concept through? So, for example, the one that I always used to say to you boys on, you know, this same channel is that you could go and buy a manor house in the country and it costs you 20 million. It has 20 bedrooms. It's gigantic, just hundreds of acres. And, you know, you've got gardeners, cleaners, etc. You're basically a billionaire. But it's boring. There's nothing to do. It's boring. You're just like, I'm in the middle of nowhere. I ask my friends to come see me. It takes them forever to get here. They have to drive, and then they have to have the day off work. It has to be a weekend. I can only sleep in one bedroom. I can only take a shit in one toilet. And it just, ultimately, at the end of the day, you're just building yourself a prison. You know, it's a luxury, expensive prison. And I've always said to you guys that you could go and buy an apartment. Like, let's say that cost you 50 million to buy that place, right? You could go and buy an apartment in Malaga, for example, and it costs you 200k. And it's nothing fancy, but it's got like a bedroom, toilet, kitchen, living room. But what it's got is a balcony. And that balcony overlooks the city. And you can see maybe the sea, the coastline. And another trick here with life setup is the balcony is not too high. So you see these people that go and get a balcony in Dubai, a penthouse in Dubai, and they're in the clouds, and they're like, this is incredible. Yeah, it kind of is once. It kind of is when you wake up once, or like you bring a girl over and she sees it and she's like, oh my god, this is incredible. But you can't see anybody. And I've always thought the best life setup is a balcony on the first, second or third floor, where you're kind of in touch with the world. Like, you're sat on your balcony having a drink and people are walking past and you're just like, I don't know, 20 foot above them, 15 foot above them, and you can feel the community. You can get engaged. You can have a conversation with people. That's 10x life setup, in my opinion. And having that house for 200k would probably give you better life setup in terms of getting the most out of life, finding happiness, not just having temporary pleasure like, oh, I'm up in the sky with the clouds. Wow, look at my life. It's incredible. Next day you go, oh, it's the clouds again. And then the day after that, you're just thinking, it's actually pretty normal. I'm actually really getting used to this now. It's just sky, I can't see anybody. And then you come to the conclusion that I came to whenever I lived in a penthouse. Shit, this is really lonely, nobody can see me, I can't see anybody, I'm just sat here on my own every day. Yeah, it's luxury, yeah, it looks good, but I have a terrible life. This is kind of boring. And you don't want that. You really don't want that, guys. So the next point in mindset is finding pleasure in simplicity. You've probably heard me say that 1,000 times. If you were in the school community, and that was the main advice that I used to give to people when guys used to say, what should I do? How am I going to get this? I was like, you've got to find pleasure in simplicity. And that allows you to slow everything down, because at the moment, you're probably chasing something that you're never going to get, which is you want to be at a 10 every single day, and it's not going to happen. The majority of life, and this is why I say pleasure and simplicity, the majority of life is a 7 out of 10. And you're gonna get days where everything's incredible, you're gonna get days where everything's shit. But if you can just live at like a 7 most of the time, then you will have a much better lifestyle. For example, what do I have right now? I have a coffee, I have a little coffee, and I'm in the pool. Could there be a better pool? Yeah, I'm sure you could find a better pool. There's sun loungers there, there's sun loungers that this is resting on. I'm gonna have a little sunbathe afterwards. So I'm in the sun, which is free. Sun lounger, maybe like £400 for the sun lounger. The pool's not that warm. I've got a pool heater that's just arrived, but the pool's not that warm. And the coffee cost me maybe like pennies. You know, when you think about it, when you break it down, like per usage is pennies. So you're like, yeah, well, I haven't really spent a lot. Yeah, you got to have the house in the first place, which we'll get to in a minute. Obviously, it's a long course video. We'll go through it all. But pleasure and simplicity, you got to find little things that you love. Like, for example, for me, it's just walking around with a coffee in hand and having a conversation with people that I love, people I get on with, people that I like to spend time with. Like, I was with my girlfriend yesterday, and we were just sat having a coffee, and we were just chatting about life, laughing and joking, and because we get on so well, it was hilarious, and we're having a great time. Then we just walked around and didn't really do a lot, just sat on a bench, walked around, and then just eventually went home. And I was like, I love today. Like, we just did like 4 hours of just basically doing nothing, just talking to each other, you know. And people, this is what I mean by pleasure and simplicity, and going back to finding happiness and not just pleasure. A woman is a perfect example, because if she gives you pleasure and simplicity in terms of like, you just walk around hand in hand having a chat and you're happy, you know, and you're like, yeah, I'm content, I'm happy, I've got a nice life. Because you can't be having sex 24/7. Let's say you're with her because she's got a great body and a beautiful face and the sex is great. You can't do that all the time. And to be honest, the longer you're together, the less that is going to be important, and the less that you're going to be able to do that, because just life gets in the way. And what, you're going to go 24 rounds a day? Like, it's just stupid. It's just unsustainable. You're just not going to sustain that forever. You know, like certain people go and spend certain amounts of money on a holiday, and then they get holiday blues, and you're like, yeah, because it's not really your life. Do you know what I mean? It's a one-off, you enjoy it, and then you get back to work. You've got to have that balance of like work and lifestyle. Both are important. But people think, oh, can this last forever? And you're like, you don't want it to last forever, because the reason it was so great is because you only had a week. If you had had 3 years, you would have got bored. It would have became an actual lifestyle, you know, and you would have had to have done your morning commute, you have to take the bins out and stuff like that. It becomes different. The longer something goes on, the less pleasure that you have in it. It's like when you meet each other in a relationship early on, you're with your woman, and early on, she doesn't live with you. Every time you meet up, it's once a week, so you've gotten rid of all your stresses and problems. You only meet up when things are going great. You know, you've got your hair cut, she's got her hair done, you've got new clothes, you turn up smelling good, you've both showered, shaved, etc. And when you end up spending the night together, you sleep together and stuff, and you're like, wow, my life could be amazing if I was with her. Once you actually live together, if you're looking for permanent pleasure and you're not looking for simplicity, you're in trouble, because she's going to get ill. She is going to have, you know, she's going to be on the toilet, you're going to walk in, it's going to smell, you're going to have to take the bins out and stuff, and it's like, yeah, that pleasure just kind of disappears. But if you've got pleasure and simplicity of like, yeah, but I just love talking to her. Yeah, but I love it when we just go for a walk with the dog. Yeah, but I love it when we just sit down, have some food, and just watch a film. That can last forever. And that's the difference. There's a lot of you guys are chasing the high life, the 10 out of 10, the Instagram highlight. Is very rare. Like, obviously I'm here now, this house is phenomenal. We have a gym down there. I'll move around, mix up locations on each kind of section. And, you know, there's sun lounges, there's a pool and stuff like that. But 90% of the time I'm sat on my laptop working. Like every O&M trip that we go on, we're going to have 20 guys there. We'll walk into a baller house and everyone goes, wow, look at this, to take some pictures and videos and whatnot. And then within an hour, everyone's sat there on their laptops working. It's the same story every single time. And that's why you have to find pleasure in simplicity, because You know, like just, if you like walking, you like coffee, you like food, you like movies, like just find your thing. You know, I don't know what it is. It could be people. It could be just like, I don't know what your thing is, but if you can just find something really simple that you can do on repeat. Like I saw a meme recently, which was like, you travel all the time on your own. It was like, it must be lonely. And it was like being in a city, a strange city that you've never been to before, just sat in a coffee shop, is like peak life when you're on your own. Like you're on your own in I don't know, maybe you've gone to like Belgrade for the first time ever. You don't know what to expect. And you're there on your own and you're just like having a coffee and a bit of food, looking out the window, watching the world. Nobody knows you're there. It's like for me that I take more pleasure in that than if I flew there in a private jet. I'd be like, yeah, the jet was cool. It was a cool experience. But, you know, just sat in that coffee shop working on my laptop. Nobody knows I'm there. I'm just kind of like having that experience of life. And I'm just like, this is amazing. I can do this in so many different places. This is when I'm happiest. Like, that's how you get elite level life setup, okay? Now, next up, and this is a serious life lesson, guys. A serious life lesson. I really have to nail this one home for you to the point where I'm going to take off the shades. You need eye contact for this one. So, what you have to do is spend on yourself first and build for you first before... Now I can't see a thing. You have to build before you build for someone else. So, I'll give you the prime example. Let's say you get a woman, she's beautiful, you're dating her, and you want to make sure she's happy, so you buy expensive shit for her. Let's say you go and buy her an expensive bag, and it costs 5k. And she loves you for it, obviously, right, as anybody would. You're buying something for somebody, expensive gift, they're gonna love you. She's happy, she's delighted, you've got this expensive gift for her. You went and bought, I don't know, 5k worth of clothes for her, and you went and paid for hair, makeup, nails, etc., right? So you spent like 11k, and she looks phenomenal. And then because you spent so much on her, you don't have, you know, you've got money left, but you don't have 11k to spend on yourself. Okay, so she loves you for it, but now here's the problem. She looks incredible. She has the bag. She has the clothes. She's looking great, right? What she's getting now is she's got a better life. You're more attracted to her because you're going, whoa, you look incredible. Other guys are more attracted to her. She's gone up in the social rankings, like her life is amazing. What's happened to your life? You got less money and you've got nothing for it. Yeah, your woman's happy, but you've got nothing for it. Whereas, imagine if you bought her nothing. Okay, now it sounds horrible, but imagine you bought her nothing and you spent 11k on yourself. You went and bought yourself clothes. You went and bought yourself some nice shoes, some suits and whatever. Now every time you meet up with her, you're in a suit, you look fantastic. You've spent 11k on yourself. And she's kind of looking up at you. Like, this guy always dresses well. He has cool shit. Like, he always goes on holidays, doing nice stuff. Like, he's got nice assets and whatever. Like, he's got expensive things. Like, he always looks put together. He went and got a haircut, got his skin done. He looks handsome as fuck. Like, I really want him. And now you've got the value because you spent it on yourself. And that's why I always say spend it on yourself first. Whereas if you spend it on someone else, or you try and impress other people, and you try and go outside of your means and whatever, when they leave you, or, you know, when their life improves, your life stands still. So if you want good life setup, it's actually a way better strategy. Just spend on nobody and spend on yourself, because then what it makes you is valuable. Like, if you're the guy with the nice house, instead of buying her a house, she now has to come and stay at your house. You know, and if you're the guy with the Barcelona VIP seats, for example, which we bought for O&M, at their new stadium, which is going to be cool. You guys, if you're a member, you'll get to use them. If you have them, you're now valuable. People come to you. If you have a business contact, you're like, hey, do you want to go and watch El Clasico with me? Real Madrid, Barcelona versus Real Madrid at the new stadium. Yeah, I'd love to. So now you're valuable to him or her, and you could land the deal, or you could land the date, you could land the woman. She has a better life because she's with you, and the client wants to hang out with you because you're a cool guy. Whereas if you went and bought them for someone else, you bought them tickets, doesn't really have anything to do with you. Do you know what I mean? She could be taking selfies, posting them, just makes her life better, just puts her in the eye of other guys. If you did it for a client, they might be like, yeah, thanks, but like, still don't want to do business. You almost need people to need, you almost want people to need you. In terms of having great life setup, you need to get this through your head in terms of a mindset thing, guys. You need to have stuff, and you need the world to want to come to you to use it. You want the world to have to, without you it doesn't exist, because then it gives you value. Whereas if you buy stuff for other people because you have money and you're a rich guy, doesn't work because as soon as they have it, they don't need you anymore. And that's how people can use you. You know, you buy her a 50k bag, and you know, then you buy her, I don't know, you give her like 20k in cash, and then she goes to Paris and she's walking around looking like some baller in a nice outfit that you've bought her. She looks like unbelievable. You buy her a personal trainer. She looks incredible. She goes to Paris. She spends your money. She's in a baller location, and a guy with way more money than you, who's more successful than you, spots her and goes, "Yeah, I'll take her on. That's my woman now. I want her." You just fucked up. You just paid for somebody to have a better life to get snatched up by somebody else. It's kind of stupid, right? It doesn't really work. Whereas if you had spent the money on you, nothing on her, she now wants you. She needs you. Your life is valuable. And it's a mindset that so many guys, they get money and they start spending on other people. And it's like, no, the more you spend on yourself, the better you'll look, the better your life will be, the more in demand you will be. It's such a better way to do it. And then next up is my life setup ranking. So number one is usage. How much are you actually going to use something? So this is my criteria for spending, for buying things, for adding to my life setup. How much am I actually going to use it? Am I going to use it once? For example, like let's do a yacht. Let's say I go and get a yacht. Yeah, it's baller as hell in terms of life setup, and it could get me some deals and stuff like that. I could have a few parties and whatever, but like realistically, I might use that thing like twice a year, 3 times per year. If I lived on it, it's different, but I might not use it that much. I could buy a private jet. Maybe I would need it like 13 times a year, 14 times a year. When you actually do the maths, you're like, I probably should just pay business class. If I needed it every 2-3 days, then yeah, it makes sense, because you're going to be tired. You need a bed on there. You see what I mean? It adds up. But for a lot of people, they don't understand. They're not going to use it a lot. It's like you could go and buy like a Lamborghini with the roof down and stuff like that, right? Lowered, looks incredible. But like, you can't do the food shop in that car. You can't go and play golf with that car. You can't pick the kids up in that car if you have more than one kids. And it's awkward as well. You make yourself a kidnapping target. There's speed bumps everywhere. Like, it's just not a good daily car. You end up using the Range Rover like 100 times, 200 times a year, 300 times a year. You end up using the Lamborghini or whatever maybe like 10 times per year. And when you do use it, yeah, it's fun as hell, but you're just not going to use it that much. And then you realize, hey, like, I've spent all this money and the usage is really low. And like my 8 out of 10, my straight 8 system, you're actually getting a lot of problems with this thing, because it makes you a kidnapping target. It's expensive to maintain. You got to buy extra security in terms of like storage. It could be like an underground facility. You can't just park it on the street. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of issues. Like, people are going to key it, kick off the wing mirrors and shit. And it's just like, I don't know if it's worth the squeeze, you know? So you got to understand your usage. Like, are you actually going to use this thing a lot? Like, something can sound cool in theory, but it's like, for example, you buy a penthouse in London, and because it has a rooftop. It's one of my favorite things, having a rooftop. But it rains and it's cold a lot, so it's like, am I really going to use it? You would have been better off buying a penthouse in, I don't know, somewhere like Madrid. You go, okay, it's the same price, but I'm going to use this for probably 10 months of the year versus 3 months of the year in London. So you got to understand your usage. Number 2, areas of life impacted. So it depends what you buy, but let's say, or it depends what you do as a skill. Let's say you learn a language. Areas of life impacted, I'd say it's quite a few, but it depends on the language that you learn. You know, if you learn to cook, areas of life impacted, well, yeah, it could be date night, could be cooking for yourself. You know, it could be a future business that you open. Like, there's so many different things that can come off the back of that. You know, like if you bought a normal car, for example, just like a hardtop car versus a convertible, the convertible has like 5 or 6 extra usages. It makes life way more fun. It's a slight difference, but it has way more fun added to it. So, you know, if you just look at the areas of life, it's like, okay, so I can use it for, you know, like, I'm trying to think of a really good example for this. Like, if you get in shape, for example, you know, in terms of your life setup, getting in shape like 10x's your life in like 500 areas, whereas buying an expensive car might overlap into 2 areas, but getting in shape has a giant ROI. So you always have to look at what areas of your life are getting impacted most and what's getting affected. So you rank all of these out of 10. I've got a scale of 5 of them, and then at the end you just see what you score out of 50. Number 3 is smile on face, SOF, and that could be, for example, there's a pool heater over there. We're going to install it very soon so that we can use this 12 months of the year. So in winter it's going to be 35 degrees, you can jump in, it's going to be boiling, it'll be lovely. That pool heater, in my opinion, is more effective than having a 100-meter Olympic pool. So if somebody said, I have a 100-meter Olympic pool, your pool's tiny, and I'd be like, yeah, but your pool's like covered up. Your pool's freezing, your pool's hard to maintain, it's a pain in the ass. I can swim in my pool for 12 months of the year. It's heated, it's easy to maintain. I'd be like, yeah, it's way better. So if you had a bigger pool than me, great, but your pool's cold for like 8 months of the year. Whereas my pool is going to be warm, usable for 12 months of the year. So what I mean by that is it puts a smile on my face. Because if I wake up in the morning and I think, I've got a pool, but like, it's cold. I don't really want to swim in a cold pool. Yeah, it toughens me up. Is it good for my bones? Yeah, but like, fuck, it's kind of like nobody else wants to join me. Like, I invite people around. Do you want to swim in my 100-meter Olympic pool? And they go, yeah, mate, it's cool and that. It looks good, but like, it's freezing. I don't want to use it. Whereas if I say to them, hey, I have a heated pool, do you want to jump in? Oh my God, fuck yeah, I've been cold for months. Like, yeah, I'd love to swim in the heated pool. Like, it puts a smile on your face. I would wake up in the morning, I'd be cold in winter, and I'd be like, yeah, but when I go downstairs, I can just dive into this heated pool, have a coffee in the pool, just lounge around. Like, some of the guys will be here, you'll be having a conversation. Like, if you've got one in your own house and your wife's there and you're just chilling with your wife, you're just like, fucking warm in winter, just having a chat about life, like, what more could you want, really? You're there at night with some friends, you've invited another couple rounds, and you're all just having like a late night drink, like a wine or a whiskey, and you're in the pool and it's like -2 degrees outside but 35 degrees inside the pool. Yeah, that would put a smile on my face. So you have to judge it by that. And finally, oh no, sorry, I'm on number 4, apologies. Number 4, shovels in the gold rush. What I mean by that is like a telescope without a house. So this is one thing that you have to base it on, is this like, what else can it encapsulate? Because let's say I say to you guys, buying a telescope is perfect for life setup, okay? Because you could bring a woman around and be like, hey, do you want to look at the moon? Yeah, of course she does. You say to your friends, hey, like, should we watch that asteroid thing tonight? Let's see if we can find it. Like, there's so many usages, and even if you're bored, you can just like scout around and look for shit. It's just a cool thing, nobody's really got one. But you can't really have a telescope without a house. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, you could sit in your car, but it doesn't really work, and like, if it's cold, it doesn't really work. So it's kind of like, what came first, telescope or the house? Do you know what I mean? You need the house to have the telescope. Like, you need a platform for that telescope to exist. Otherwise, it doesn't work. It's like having the world's 5 best basketball players, but they're playing on grass. You'd be like, well, we need a court. Like, first of all, we need to get a court, maybe a stadium. Now we have a team. Now we need players to add to it. Like, you do it the other way around. You don't go, I've got 5 players. And you're like, for what? Do you know what I mean? It's the wrong way around. It's like, I've got a telescope. You go, fantastic, but you probably should have got the house. So you could put everything inside the house. You could build a base around it. Your life setup doesn't exist without it. So it doesn't work. So in the gold rush, people who sold the shovels ended up making a shit ton of money. Most people didn't find gold. And the telescope is going to be the thing that gets you the win, but you need the gold mines to begin with. So you got to get your head around that kind of concept. And that's how you would judge it on the scale. You would judge it, like, you got to get your head around the concept, but you got to judge it on the scale of, like, you know, which one do I have? Which one am I basing this on? Like, am I basing this on, like, the fact that, yeah, we have a gold mine? Okay, great, means nothing. You know, that's a 0 on the scale, but you do need it, so you got to put it in place. But then when it comes to, like, what you rank, you go, okay, telescope. Like, how effective is that coupled with the house? You know, it's like effective, like, bringing 2 together, and then you can judge it on, like, yeah, well, when I have the 2, it works really well. Now, you have a house, okay, what's in that house? You have a telescope? Yeah, but you have nowhere to put it. Where are you going to use it? Like, it's like a coupling effect, and then when you see 2 together, that's when it all comes together. So number 5, proximity to infrastructure. So guys, I cannot tell you how much I've been banging on about this recently, and it's fucking annoying me. You saw me in the Budva vlog where I was telling you guys about young men don't spend money anymore, they don't enjoy life, they don't understand it. They think they can just sit in their bedroom for years on end and life's going to come together. You can't, okay? You need 3 things. You need cultural, geographical, and general life knowledge. You need to understand this thing, because sitting in your room forever, you're gonna have no experience, no skills, so you're not gonna know how to use this shit. Like, we'll get to this later, but imagine if I said to you guys, great life setup is having a hot tub in a cold country, or a heated pool in a cold country. You'd go, okay, nice. So if I lived in Iceland and I had a pool heater and a hot tub, it would be an amazing life setup. And you're like, no, not really. Why not? Why is it not? You saw us in Iceland. We were in a hot tub outside the house. It was incredible. Yeah, it was amazing. But the thing is, Iceland has lagoons. It has the hot springs. It has them everywhere. So like, if you went, hey, do you guys want to come over to my house? I have a hot tub. They'd be like, nah, we're going to the lagoon that has views of the entire, like, that has views off this edge of the cliff looking at the sea. So you're competing with something that already has infrastructure that's there. It's like I had a boss. This perfectly explains it. I had a boss when I worked in real estate when I was really young. And I said to him, I was like, how much value does a garage put on a house? And because somebody asked me the question on a call, because they were on about putting a garage on their house before they sell it. And I was like, I don't know, let me ask my boss. And he goes, well, it depends on the roadside parking. If there's parking on the road, then the garage means nothing. If it's safe, it means nothing. If there's no parking on the road and it's an unsafe area, then that garage puts like 20, 30k of value on the house. And I was like, good point. It's contextual. And this is what you need to get your head around, is like all life setup, everything that you add to your life is contextual to the area that you're in, the culture that you're in, the geographical location, you know, proximity to the city and stuff like that. You know, like I had a call with somebody once. I had a one-to-one call. I was sat over there actually. And he said, I just sold my company for millions and I don't know what to do. Where should I live? Where should I go? And I was like, here's the thing. I was like, it depends. I was like, if you move to Dubai, you're going to need a car. Like, he was trying to figure out his life setup. I was like, you move to Dubai, you're going to definitely need a car. If you move to New York, the type of car is not crazy important. You could play the James Bond role and get an Aston Martin instead. I was like, but the type of car is not crazy important. I was like, what's more important is the parking. Like, I would rather spend more money on a parking space and just get some like basic Range Rover, just something that makes me feel good when I'm sat in traffic, something that's comfortable, that feels good. That's way more effective. I was like, you could even probably have a motorbike, which is probably more effective, and then have a parking space that you buy. Whereas if you're in Dubai, you definitely don't need a parking space, but you definitely need a car because it's boiling hot and it takes a while to travel places. If you're in London, you don't even need a car. Nobody even cares. You can just Uber and use trains. But having a nice house is effective because the house prices are so expensive. And if you're in a shit area, it's not safe. So it's just like, it depends on where you go. But if you don't have that knowledge because you haven't traveled and you just sat in your goddamn bedroom for the last 10 years, then you're fucked. It's not going to help, is it, guys? Do you see what I mean? And this is what people do. People just sit there in their bedroom thinking, oh, in 10 years' time, I'll be a multi-millionaire. And you go, yeah, but... And you think that's going to get me goals and it's going to get me a social life. It's not, because you have zero knowledge of what to do with it. You just don't know. It's like the guys that have all the gear and no idea. You could buy the best football boots in the world. If you don't know how to play football, you don't know positional play, you don't know, the offside rule, you're fucked. So it's like, you need the knowledge. Otherwise, you're just going to go and waste money on shit that doesn't matter. Like, how many guys have you seen get rich and they go and buy like a gold Lamborghini, a Rolex, and then they go, I'm going to get all the goals now. You're like, yeah, sure you are, bro. Everyone's going to respect me. It's like, we all look at you as some loser that we can just steal money from. We can just use you because you're useless. You don't understand the game. And girls are looking at you like, this is a meal ticket. I'm looking at you thinking, this guy is just easy to walk all over. We could get a hell of a deal out of him. We could chew him up. We could chew him to pieces. He's soft. He's made money, but he's soft. Like, this is going to be easy. This is a deal that could be in our favor, 70-30. Like, that's how people are looking at you because you're just not that guy. You don't have that knowledge of the world. You haven't been outside. Like, it's so effective. Like, just learning different languages, having that culture, that experience. Like, without all that, you just don't know why you're doing it. And if you don't know why you're doing it, you're going to be like everybody on YouTube that copies my shit and comes up with, hey, I'm going to make a video on the male advantage. And you go, great, but you don't understand the core philosophy behind it. Like, when people did self-improvement September, and they called it the Great Lock-in, or the Winter Lock-in, or the Winter Arc, and they were like, it's just winter, bro. Let's just get it done. And I was like, yeah, great. That's what happens when you steal my ideas. You don't actually understand why they're working. You just hear an idea, and then you throw it out into the world, and it's just like, yeah, it's not going to work. But that's the end of the mindset section. I hope that changes the way that you guys look at it, look at the world. And yeah, we're just going to change location and just move on to the next subject. Let's dive a lot deeper into life setup, framing, all the subjects that you guys love. We should end up being like 3-4 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, something like that. This will be fun. I'm trying to destroy courses. I think courses suck. I don't know how people even charge for them. They're useless. They should be free. We've got a members club where you can travel the world, Barcelona VIP seats, get access to the community, you get access to these houses. We're working on something big in a major city right now, and we charge $5,000 for it for the year. And some people charge you $10,000 for a PDF. It drives me nuts. It's insane, but people are stupid, so they pay it. But every one of you has been scammed by all of these guys, so hopefully you've learnt your lesson now. Real world is king, and I'm going to make free courses and destroy everyone's business because I'm sick of it. I think it's hilarious. Right then, guys, so next up is finding the pain point in your area. So here's the thing, right? You could be, like I said, in Iceland, and the pain point in Iceland, yeah, it's cold, but the facilities are there. So then you go, okay, if everybody's got a heated pool, and there's hot tubs everywhere, and there's glacial hot springs everywhere, you just think to yourself, okay, this isn't really going to work, is it? The thing that I'm chasing after isn't going to work. So then you go, okay, do you go the other way? Do you have sun loungers? No, don't be stupid. Okay, you've got to find the pain point in that area. And somewhere like Iceland, it's location. Because imagine, just put this into context for a second, right? Because I want to talk about business, relationships, everything here. But let's just use this as an example. Let's say that you are like a 18-year-old girl, and your parents live in the outskirts of Iceland, middle of nowhere, like 2 hours from anything. And you've just grown sick of that over the years. Like it's just been like the last 10 years of your life have just been hell. Anytime you go to see your friends, they're nowhere near you. You have to drive miles. It's just a pain in the ass. And then imagine if you're a guy who's like 20 years old and you have an apartment in the middle of like Reykjavik or something. She's going to be like, well, if I'm with him, I can actually stay at his for like a week at a time. And my life is going to be considerably better. So that's when you realize, like, location is everything in a place like that. Like, having a car, massively important, definitely, and a driver's license. But I think having, like, a helicopter in a place like that would make you king. Do you see what I mean? You've got to figure places out. Like, in terms of a business, like a business decision, let's say you're a business owner. Let's say you've got your own supplement company, and you know that gym in Tulum, the beach gym in Tulum in Mexico, where it's like all the wooden weights and it's on the beach and whatever, and all the influencers go there, and beautiful women go there all the time because they want to get the photos. If you had a supplement company or like a bikini company or even like a surfing brand, and you wanted like in shape attractive people with a big audience to come to where you are, what a great play for life setup. That is genius. You've got people now coming to you using your facilities. It's such a weapon. It's a very clever move. You buy something or you build something so that it has a positive effect on another area of your life. So if I ever wanted to make like top level contacts, I would do one of two things. I would have probably a lingerie company, and I would have massive parties, and then I would use the beautiful women to draw in the successful guys, and I'd be like, do you want to come to one of these parties? Do you want to enjoy this? Do you want to, we got a massive event, all the models are going to be there, like you're invited, of course the guys are going to come. And another thing I would do is I would have like a luxury gym, spa type setup, make it expensive as hell, and make it like a really exclusive celebrity only gym, and now you're getting contacts. Do you know what I mean? Like it's so easy to perform live setup. You just need the knowledge of the area that you're in. You just need to understand the people. You need to understand the field that you're in. You need to have an end goal. If you don't know where you're going, you're going to go nowhere. You're just going to end up nowhere. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you don't have a destination, then why are we even in the car? You got to type it in first. You got to know where you're headed. Otherwise, it's like, what are we doing here? Where are we going? Do you know what I mean? It'd be like jumping in an Uber or well, Uber's different, but it'd be like jumping in a taxi and then saying, well, go on then, where are you taking me? The guy would be like, I don't know. I need you to give me a destination. And if you don't actually know what you're trying to accomplish, are you trying to do it for business? Are you trying to do it for relationships? Are you purely trying to do it for sex? Are you trying to do it for happiness, pleasure? Like, what's your thing? What's your thing? What are you doing it for? What's your end goal? Are you doing it to build a personal brand, better business? It's like, at what areas of life, as we said earlier, does it overlap into? Does it improve your ability to find a partner? Does it improve your business? Does it improve your happiness? Does it improve your, goes across the board? Does it improve your personal brand? Does it improve all four of those in one go? Because it might do. And if it does, then hey, that's an even bigger weapon. And that's why I think fitness has the biggest, money has the biggest ROI in terms of life setup, because it's the possibilities. But I think in terms of like an across the board easy thing that you can put in place, I think just getting in shape. I think just fitness, getting in shape, just adding some muscle, getting lean, the best thing that you can possibly do for your life. It has a crazy overlap, but yeah, like you need the knowledge that goes with it. You need to understand the region that you're in. Why are you in that area? Have you based yourself in the correct area? It all overlaps. It's got to be congruent. It's got to be congruent. There's no point spending like 200k on a supercar and then living in London and just sitting in traffic, having your car keyed, and you can't park it anywhere. You can't park outside restaurants and shit. There's some valet parking, but most of the time you have to park it miles away. So what do you end up doing? You end up just driving around, which has its benefit. But then in order for it to have a benefit, it has to be a convertible. It has to be summer. You probably have to have some level of combat experience, because you're going to get people leaning over towards you. There's caveats, and it's just like, fuck, this is more of a headache than it is a benefit. So next up, I wanted to explain my bang for buck theory or concept. I've always said to you guys that what is the point of getting one mortgage on a giant house? I've never understood that. The way that people go and spend maybe 1 or 2 million on one house, and then they just live in one location forever. And they have the same journey to work, they have the same commute with the kids to school. Everything that they do is just the same on repeat. And you're putting all of your eggs into one basket. So let's say if something like there's a pandemic and you're stuck in one location, it's just a dumb strategy. And then let's say you have storms for, let's say, 2 months. Maybe the weather's terrible, somewhere like the UK, 2-3 months, summer is a washout. Well, what other options do you have? You have to sit there and suffer because you don't really have another location to go to. I just think it makes so much more sense when it comes to what you buy to have diversity in your assets. Now, when you invest, when you work on your business, when you work on certain things, yeah, it's better to be less diverse and just kind of find the things that you think are going to work and go all in. But I think when it comes to life setup, diversity is king, because let's say if the UK is raining or you're in New York and there's something bad could happen, and it's just like, God, I don't want to be here anymore. This is terrible. You can just get up and leave. You have multiple options. And look, it doesn't even have to be like a pandemic or something major like a terrorist attack. It could just be the simple fact of variety of choice. Like, you want optionality. You want the option of just going, I'm bored of being in a city. I miss the beach. I miss the coast. I want to go there. So you have a great place. Instead of maybe putting 2 million into one property and thinking, okay, I'm a baller. Let's say you put 500k into 4 places, and one place is a nice penthouse apartment in the city. One place is a country estate in the middle of nowhere. so you can get away and it's secluded. Let's say one place is a beach resort, and then let's say one place is maybe it's in another city center, but it's a separate city center, so it gives you like secondary life setup. Maybe it's a smaller, quieter place like a Lisbon versus a New York. And then if you had both together, you've then got elite level life setup where you can have the best of both worlds. You've got a major city where you've got everything on your doorstep, and then you've got a secondary city that you can enjoy, but it's less crazy. So all the queues are shorter, all the lines are shorter, there's less traffic, you know, you get those sort of benefits. It's a different part of the world. It changes everything that you're going after. That for me is a weapon. That for me is the best way to live. Rather than putting all of your eggs in one basket and just having this like £2 million house that, you know, is all or bust, and based on weather, based on the political situation of the country that you're in, that determines your happiness. You have multiple options that you can just jet to whenever you want. You could even have 2 properties in the same country, but they just have a different type of landscape. So like here in Spain, a lot of people have a house in Madrid and a house in Marbella. So then that way they're in the city, and then they can go to the coast and they can enjoy when it gets too warm in summer. It's a great way to live. It's a great way to improve your life setup. I think so many people are very like one-dimensional, and we've been completely lied to, which I'll get to in a minute. So next up, one thing that you want, guys, is rarity. Rarity is king. Everything that you do, rarity is king. If you're the only guy that's in shape out of a room full of obese people, you don't even have to be the most attractive guy, but you're going to look 10 times better. You know, if everyone in a room is blonde and you're the only guy who's brunette, whatever, I don't know if you can make that term for men, it sounds like a female thing. But let's say as a woman, for example, if you're the only brunette in a room full of blondes, then, you know, that level of rarity makes you stand out big time. It's just like something that's different makes you attractive, and it doesn't have to mean a feature. You know, it could be like you're the only guy at school who can drive. Do you remember that? Or like that one guy at school whose parents were always away, so you could have like house parties and stuff. He was king. And it's true to life as well. Like if you live in London, most people live in flat shares with friends and stuff. Like I know girls that were models that live with like 5 or 6 different people because they just didn't have the money. If you're the one person that has their own place and, you know, it's nice in a nice area, you are just running the show. And that's a concept that I tried to tell people before in terms of like, yeah, you can go and live in a cheap place like Bali, but when you get there, everybody's kind of in the same boat where their money goes far. Like, what's the point in being rich if you're going to live in Dubai, for example? And what's the point if, you know, let's say you do live in Bali and you're a guy who's in shape with a nice place, and it's like, yeah, but everybody there is in shape and everyone can afford a nice place because it's so cheap. Like, it's so easy to get like nice shit. And like, what you're gonna say, like, oh, I work on my laptop all day, I have a really nice life, and I have a decent apartment with a pool. It's gonna be like, yeah, so does everybody. So sometimes you're better off, this is my strategy, going to like a New York or a London and making it there first and becoming a winner there, because if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere, and then everything is down from them. So you can reverse engineer your strategies, and you know, if you succeed on the hardest level of the video game, which is a London or New York, and you have a really nice place, everybody in that city doesn't. So ultimately, you win 10x, you win big time. Whereas if you have, oh, I've got a nice place and I live in, I don't know, I live in Idaho or something like that. Or, you know, you live in, could be somewhere like Stoke in the UK, right? If you're just like, yeah, I've got quite a nice big house. It's like, yeah, but house prices are less than 100k. So you can do it in these areas. Like if you had a house in Texas and you said it's massive, it's like, yeah, all the houses are massive in Texas. It's not really a flex, and people try and do this. They try and cheat life. You can't really cheat life. You can have a version of things, but I made videos on this years ago saying men settle for versions of things, and then it ultimately never equates to happiness. because everybody can have what you can have, and if it's easily replicable and it's not rare, then you'll struggle. And it's like, yeah, you go to Bali and you go, it's going to be amazing because I can have a 1-bedroom apartment, blah blah. Yeah, no, I do get it, but everybody's got one. So suddenly the standard that you think is exceptional just becomes the normality, and it's like, then the barrier to entry raises again and again and again, and then you get real ballers coming over and buying proper houses and doing other shit with the money, and suddenly your 1-bedroom apartment is great for you, but it kind of looks shit. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you're in somewhere like a London or New York and everybody has a terrible living situation, but you've somehow managed to pull it off and having a crazy apartment, you are like, it's harder, but when you win, the effects are 10x. And I noticed that when I was in London, just having a nice place just gives it like, it wouldn't mean a lot in other places, but somewhere like London, like I said, you don't need a car in London, but if you have one, it is like, oh wow, shit, you actually do have a car. You know, you don't need a nice apartment in London, but when you have one, it's like, wow, because nobody can get one, nobody can afford one. It has like an amplified 10x effect because there's so many people living in the same boat, if that makes sense. You know, like even if you're in a group of guys and you're the only one wearing a suit, you'll stand out. Just as the same as like if every guy is in a suit and you're in like smart casual clothes, you're probably the boss. Do you know what I mean? It's weird. Like I've got a theory on like being bold as well, which is, you know, I'm being biased here. But I think if everyone in the next like 10 years gets hair transplants, eventually no guy is bold. I think bold guys are going to be like really attractive because if you're a girl and you're kind of into bold guys and they don't exist anymore, that when you see one, you're going to be like, oh damn, like it's kind of sexy, it's different. And from my experience, something that is rare, something that doesn't exist often, it tends to work. Like if you ever go to a foreign country where you just don't look like the locals, you win. You know, if you're like a blonde guy in Spain or somewhere like a Morocco, it's really effective. Just as if you're like a dark-haired, dark-featured, quite, you know, you got a tan and you go to somewhere like Sweden, you're probably going to stand out. You're probably going to be, like people say beauty standards, but I think people actually like rarity. It's different. Like I always remember in school, the girl that was foreign was always like the hottest in the class because nobody looked like her and she would stand out. So rarity is king. And if you can add rarity to your life setup, and if you can do something that nobody else can do, instead of trying to cheat the game, cheat the system, you can't cheat the game. You can't go and do something that is easy to do because everyone's just going to do it if it is that easy to do. Like I said, you move to Bali, which we're going to soon. I love Bali. I think it's great. But if you move to Bali and you're like, I can have a mansion for cheap, I can have a great life for cheap. It's like, yeah, for now, but everyone's going to think that and then everyone's going to do it. And then the cheat code, as you would, just gets ruined. It gets patched. It's like if it was as easy as like walking up to a woman and saying, oh, hey, nice to meet you, I think you're beautiful, can I get your number? And you got the number every time and you had sex every time by the end of the week, then everyone would be doing it. And it's like, yeah, it's not that easy. Because what's she supposed to do? Just give her a number to every guy that says she's beautiful. If she does that forever, like, it's just not going to work, right? It's just terrible strategy. So then the barrier to entry constantly raises. So you're going, oh, I can go and live in Bali and Thailand for cheaper. Next is the Philippines and whatnot. Yeah, but then eventually, like, every method gets patched. And, you know, it keeps moving. It's like playing a video game like Call of Duty and going, I'm going to camp. Yeah, you can camp and kill 1 or 2 people and then people know that you're there and they just come and kill you. It doesn't work. Like, you can run around with like a riot shield, but then once people realize you've got a riot shield, they're just like, once they're not surprised and they see you, they're like, oh, he's cooked, like we can get him. They'll just hit you with like sticky grenades or semtex or something. It's just like ways around it. There's like really clever tactics, and it's just like you think you're being clever, but then once people figure out what you're doing, it actually becomes a weakness. It becomes a negative and a downfall. So you've always got to be on top of rarity, and you can't really cheat the system. It comes from hard work and actually getting to the top. So yeah, there's like good choice of expenditure, but like I said, you can't cheat the system. So like you don't have to be a billionaire, you don't have to be a millionaire to do it. You still have to have some level of cash. You can't just do it on easy mode just because you found a hack. Like, it's just going to get patched so quick and it's not going to be that effective moving forward. So let's talk about the art of framing. So what is framing? So the way I look at it is life setup is kind of what you have and what you can do with it. And then framing is like how it makes you appear, or like what the impression given off to the world is. So in terms of life setup, like life setup would be kind of having enough money and being in a position where you could buy a nice car. The life setup would be maybe, you know, you go and buy an expensive sports car. And then the framing would be, if you were like a skinny nerd and you got out of a Lamborghini in the city centre, everyone's like, oh, he's got a tech company, he's just some skinny tech nerd, or like his dad's rich, yeah, so what? It doesn't really mean a lot. Whereas if you were like a big, strong, bulky guy who goes to the gym, you got like a big beard and you're wearing all black in like a big overcoat, and you're in Budapest and you get out of a G-Wagon, like all black G-Wagon, and everyone's going, he might be mafia. Now, I'm not saying either is a good strategy. Like the tech nerd could play in LA, it could be great. Like the mafia boss could play in Budapest. You just need to know where you're at. You just need to know what you're playing for. You just need to know what you're building. So framing could even be the same car. Like if you get some jacked guy getting out of a Lamborghini, it could be like, okay, he's a drug dealer, he's a mafia boss, he's dangerous. Whereas if you get some skinny little nerdy guy getting out of a Lamborghini, it's like, oh, it's a tech nerd. So it's like, it's the same thing, but it's different because it's how you frame yourself. It's how you build that world view around it. And that's completely up to you. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to position yourself as? It's the way you dress, the way you act. It's the area that you put yourself in. Like if you wore suits every day in somewhere like a Bali, you'd look like a bit of a dickhead. It doesn't really work, right? Where it like, yeah, there's a element of rarity, but you're going to be too hot. It doesn't really work. It's like what you kind of do in here. You don't really fit the culture. You know, like sometimes your face doesn't fit. And like, I'll get to this later, but it's something that I call horses for courses. As soon as I went bold when I was young, I was like, I'm going to stop going to nightclubs because it's not really for me. I was like, I'm going to get a lot more luck in like, guys always say libraries and stuff like that. It just doesn't really work. It's just hush, like nobody talks to anybody. But like, you know, I used to go to like coffee shops and Michelin star restaurants, and people used to be like, oh, it's expensive. Yeah, but going on a night out is just as expensive as going to a nice restaurant. And I would find that I would meet way better people. You know, like I'd make better contacts. There were women that preferred a guy that looked like me. Whereas if I was in a nightclub as a bold guy and I was bold at like 21, 22, I was like, I kind of look old. I didn't have the muscle yet. I was like, I kind of just looked like a guy who lost his hair young and just looks a little bit older than what he should do. That's not great. Do you know what I mean? I was like, it doesn't really suit me. It's horses for courses. It doesn't match me. That phrase is like a racetrack thing from horse racing. It's like some horses doing better on some courses because the ground is like hard, soft. You know, it's rained a little bit more. It's a longer distance. There's more hurdles. There's corners. There's straights. Like whatever it might be, he's better at running up hills. It's just horses. Some horses run better on certain courses, and you got to match it to what you can do. And that's the way I see framing. It's like, yeah, the life setup's great, but you can't just go and replicate and imitate somebody else's life setup. You can't be, okay, I'm going to be the mafia boss, and I'm going to buy all black clothes, and you know, I'm going to be a super like alpha male type. And you go, bro, I'll be honest with you, you're 5'8" and you're really skinny, and you kind of got like blonde hair and mousy eyebrows. It's like you don't really have that like mean look. You look more like some Scandinavian tech nerd who is super intelligent and is working on some world-saving projects. Lean into that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's what you should frame yourself as. So you can frame yourself as anything you want. It's up to you. It's your life. It's your world. But you got to know where you're starting because it makes it easier. It's like, I'm trying to use a good example here. Like, my body isn't built for gentle things. Like, when I open things, I break them. If I open a packet of like crisps or chips, as you would say in America, I pull it. Usually it like tends to break. And that's not because I'm mega strong, but I'm just like kind of thick-handed and heavy-handed. Whereas when I'm doing like boxing, all I have to do is like land something lightly and it lands really powerfully. So like the chances of me being like a world champion pianist, like I've got thick palms and shorter fingers, I'm probably not going to be a pianist, but I would have been a really, really good boxer. Do you know what I mean? It's just like there's certain things you just like position yourself where you're already pretty good. They did it in Australia. When I was growing up, they were talking about like if a guy in Australia was tall, because we were talking about sports, so like if he's tall and he's got long arms, they might put him into cricket because they're like, you could be a bowler. So like they almost like grab you and match you to the sport that would be best suited to you. And I think in terms of framing, you have to almost start with like an existing identity and be like, I tend to do really well here with women. I tend to do really well in these places with business. My life goes better when I hang out in these sort of places. Okay, let me lean into it, double down on it, and go and do like a hyper masculine version of that, or like a hyperbole version of that. You know, if you are the tech nerd, then, you know, maybe doubling down on like the turtleneck and glasses and the slick back hair or something. Maybe that would be a thing for you. Like I'm 6'2", I'm pretty well built, good genetics. I've always been able to fight, lift weights in the gym because my dad taught me. I've always been naturally quite like an aggressive looking guy, and I'm just like, okay, double down on it. Wear like all black sort of stuff, like these sort of coats work. I grew up in the countryside where like coats like barber coats kind of suit the vibe. Like the country pub and stuff like that, like a Range Rover, Land Rover, like a Range Rover, Land Rover Defender. It suits me more than the lime green Lamborghini. And the lime green Lamborghini, I just look like a dickhead. Whereas I think I could suit like a black McLaren 720S, like a Batman type mobile. But there's certain things that just suit you, and there's certain things that suit other people, and that's what framing is. It's like I'd say it's 60% existing, like who you naturally are, and then it's 40% based on location, you know, framing yourself for that area, what suits you, where you get the best results, and what impression you want to give off into the world, and, you know, what works in that area and stuff like that. Like, when it comes to business, like, I'm still super aggressive. If people are talking bollocks, I'm like, I don't care, just shut up. I hate all this shit. I'm like, let's not do all this fancy shit, like, just move on. If I was working in HR, I'd get destroyed. I would have a terrible career. Working in the industry that I'm working in and doing what I do in this men's industry, it works great because there's no nonsense. So you almost have to, you know, you don't want to lose yourself, but you almost have to evolve yourself a little bit for that industry. And framing goes across the board. It's like life setup's great. You got all this money, you buy all these houses and whatnot. Okay, great. But who are you? What's the image you're trying to create? What are you trying to portray to the world? How are you going to dress that character? You know, it's like making a cake. And then you put the icing on top, the candles on top, you put all the decorations. It's like, yeah, you have a Christmas tree. What are you going to put on the Christmas tree? What type of Christmas tree is it? Is it going to be a fancy one, an old school one? Oh, you boys see that? It was massive. Is it going to be a fancy one? Is it going to be an old school one? Is it going to be, you know, is it going to be themed a certain color? Is it going to be like a team branded type one? You know, is it like Lakers where it's going to be purple and yellow and stuff like that? It all purple and gold, and you have to just theme everything. Do you know what I mean? Like our pool has lights. If I make it green for St. Patrick's Day, if I make it like pink for Valentine's Day, oh, but wait, it's a men's club, then it doesn't match because we don't want to give off an identity of like, oh, we're for gay guys. Do you know what I mean? Like that would then mean a gay club. Like everything, it's all in branding. Like certain companies use certain colors to make you hungry so you buy things. It's no different with who you are as a person. It's like you build this life setup, great, but then you got to add the packaging. Like, who are you? What's your packaging? Like me and one of the O&M members were talking about it yesterday. Black tank tops. He was like, do you think I can get away with them this summer? Am I big enough now? Does it suit my... Would I look stupid? And the thing is, like, I think he'd look great, but I'm just saying, if you were a guy who was really skinny and feminine looking, and you wore a black tank top, you might look gay. And if you're not gay, then you're like, oh fuck, that's not really my vibe. Do you see what I mean? Whereas if you're like a big kind of masculine dude, and like the thing is you could be too big, like a bodybuilding type, and you wear a black tank top, now you just look like a thug. And if it's too tight, you look stupid. There's like so many different parallels. Or you could be really athletic, dancer, kind of swimming kind of frame, and you wear a black tank top and you go, oh, it works. But then you need the thing of like, do you want it tucked in? Are you going to give that image that like, yeah, I'm a big masculine guy, but I'm fashion conscious? Or are you just going to be like shorts, t-shirt, I'm a fucking gym guy, I rock it. You look at Alex Hormozy. I mean, the guy's in his like mid-30s and he's wearing like a school hat. He's got the tank top on and, you know, he doesn't really care about that sort of stuff. He's got kind of like a geeky laugh, but then he's jacked, but then he can't run. You know, he's just created an identity of just like, look, I just want to be the jacked gym guy, and I don't really care about appearance and stuff like that. I just want to promote my brand. I don't give a shit. For me, it's just gym money. And he's identified as that. And it works for him. It works really, really fucking well. And you just have to frame yourself. It's almost like framing is like personal branding 101. It's like having a fashion consultant just build your entire life out. Like, who are you? Are you a jacked guy with, you know, some contrast, like reading books? If you're a jacked guy in a tank top, but you're reading books and you've got glasses on, ooh, elements of mystery. Do you know what I mean? What is this about? Like, that's different. Do you know what I mean? Like, Tommy Shelby. Tommy Shelby is like a 5'7", 5'8" skinny guy who I can't imagine in real life Cillian Murphy is too strong or too aggressive. Probably he's not the best fighter in the world, but he carries a gun and he's got guys that work for him. Suddenly he's super powerful. Mads Mikkelsen is very much the same. Like, he's always the villain in the films, but it's like, he's really skinny. I don't really believe it. Oh no, wait, now I do believe it. Because he's got this like scary fucking voice. He'll be smoking a cigarette. He's got like the kind of like shadowy eye look, the kind of flicky hair. And you just think, okay, yeah, I can actually believe that this guy is like some Russian nutcase who doesn't get the job done himself, but he's got a shit ton of money and a ruthless mindset. Okay, now I've built the character. You see what I mean? It's like congruency with body language, the voice, the tonality. Like, if you saw some absolute jacked guy with squeaky voice, you'd be like, what happened there? Like, something, it doesn't match. Something went wrong. And you, like, understanding framing, I would say is probably more important than the actual live setup. Because the live setup on its own is just, it just exists. But you sprinkle the framing on top. And then the live setup kind of 10x's, it kind of comes together. It's almost like the activation codes that brings it all out. So yeah, you have it, but you're not doing anything with it. Oh, the framing's just brought it to the forefront. So next up, guys, I want to talk about how don't believe the propaganda of we all need to become successful for ourselves. So becoming successful on your own sucks. Having nobody around you sucks. Like, if you're a lonely millionaire, billionaire, whatever, like, it's not as great as everyone cracks it out to be. I've been in situations before with millions where I've just been on my own, nothing to do, didn't understand life, and had to figure out, how the fuck do I get a life when nobody can afford the stuff that I want to do? Nobody's free on the days that I'm free. Like, Tuesday, let's fly to Paris. No, I got work, I got kids, and I was like, I'm gonna have to figure something out. And don't believe the propaganda, because this is what people do, right? They almost want, like, let's say there's a family of 4, where you've got mum, dad, sister, brother. They want the parents to break up, so then they want the son to leave and the daughter to leave and not live in the same house, because then it's 4 sets of energy bills, 4 sets of cars that are being bought, 4 sets of like petrol, gas that's being paid for. You get my point. 4 sets of food bills. They all raise their families. It's just more like, believe in the essence of the tribe. You know, if you look at any culture, like Jewish people, shit ton of money. Muslim people, shit ton of money. Indian people, shit ton of money. Like, any cultures, Middle Eastern people, shit ton of money. Any cultures where it's like, you can't really leave until you get married. And then when you do get married, you're kind of, she's going to move in with us anyway. Like, anything where it's family orientated, lots of kids, everyone chipping in together, family businesses. Those cultures do really well. They end up making a shit ton of money, being mega successful. Because I've spoken about this a lot before. The mentality of the tribe gives you the best possible life setup. Being around people, having multiple people chip in together. Own Them Members Club is a prime example of that. The amount of, they call it the village effect. If I have an idea, great, I have an idea. Now if you add an extra 2 people in, I have an idea, he has an idea, he has an idea, which then gives me a new idea, which then gives him a new idea, which sparks both of our brains to come up with 5 new ideas, which gives him 10 ideas, which ultimately comes to the perfect conclusion of this is the best idea. And the more brains that you have, the more people can contribute into something that you have, usually the more effective it is, because you're sharing information, you're sharing ideas. You know, not sharing information has never really benefited society unless it's like wartime and it's, you know, you're trying to keep something closed in. But, you know, sharing information, intelligence agencies sharing information is usually beneficial to society. Sharing technological advances is usually beneficial. saying we've got this method, we got this method, okay, if we combine this, we get the best possible method, is the reason that societies have moved forward. And they've done this thing where they're like, okay, Chris, your TV's broken, you have to go and buy another one for 500. Okay, that's 500 out of my bank account. Whereas if I lived in a house with 9 other people and the TV breaks and we all put in 50 each, we now have a TV and nobody's bank account has been disrupted. £500 is a lot of money, you know, so, and you keep doing that, okay, now washing machine, now this is broke, now my bed's broke, now I need this and this and this. Whereas when you have like all the family contributing together, and then when something breaks, it's a small portion of a lot of syndicated funds versus like one person just constantly doing the outlay for everything. It doesn't work very well, it doesn't work like that. This is why I actually somewhat believe in the dictatorship model in a lot of countries. When you look at kind of like there's one head figure, like in somewhere in Dubai and stuff like that, like things do get fixed quickly. Whereas when I was in the UK, like potholes would exist for years, like things wouldn't get done for a long time. Whereas when you have one guy saying, I want this done, this done, this done, things tend to move a lot quicker. And that's because, you know, it looks like there's a singularity at the top, but it's not. It's just one person giving orders to everyone. It's almost like a hive mind. And the hive mind just works so much easier. It's that tribal input from everybody. I'm telling you guys, when you try and go it alone and you believe the propaganda of like, you know, you should be single, you should not have kids, you should, like, early on, yeah, I agree, because you should dedicate to yourself and try and make something of yourself, and it's not fair to try and, you know, build a relationship and have kids when you're broke. It just makes people suffer, including yourself. It's stressful. But they try and keep you away from family values. They don't want you to, like, have one secure woman, 3-4 kids, and then maybe your mum and dad live with you, your uncles, aunties, and, you know, you got your nieces and nephews, your sisters and brothers, and everyone's contributing together to a family business. And then maybe like 20-30 people in the family all have different skills. So you need the floor done, the roof done. This is like, so there's a painter, there's a pool maintenance person, a landscape person. You end up saving so much money. You end up building your own little economy. It's like they want you reliant on the system. And there's one thing that you shouldn't do is just believe the mindset of, I have to do all this on my own. Don't believe the propaganda. It's the worst thing you can do for your life setup, because then you're buying everything for yourself and it becomes super expensive. Whereas when you have multiple people chipping in together, which is the O&M model, that's when we're able to travel the world, have all these houses, do everything that we do, get these like VIP seats, have these meals and stuff like that, because everyone's kind of contributing together. And it's just ran under the umbrella of a business which generates profit, which we put back in and buy more infrastructure. But we've almost found like the perfect way to do it, and all we've done is just gone back to tribal kind of society setup, and people have forgotten that. And when you try and go it alone, you try and be this like solo hero, yeah, you can do things quickly, but you will just reach a limit where you can't go any further. And I see so many guys doing this where they're just locking themselves in a basement and they're just saying, look, I'm going to do it on my own, I'm going to become a millionaire, fuck everybody. And it's like, I'm telling you, man, it'll only get you so far. It's not healthy, and eventually it ends up costing like 10x on the back end. It's not a good strategy. So next I want to talk about my friend Rob Lipset. Rob Lipset once said to me, we were in Marbella, and I said, Rob, I want to reach 10% body fat, what do I do? And he said, you need to walk 3 times a day. He said, get up in the morning, take a cold shower, okay? He said, go for a walk, okay? Then at lunchtime, go for another walk, okay? Nighttime, go out for another walk, okay? I'm in Marbella, I do it all perfectly. It's amazing. I come back lean, I'm getting female attention on the plane, at the airport. Back when I get home, my boxing coach says to me, you look lean, you've dropped like a few percentage body fat, you look great. Hopefully that transfers into extra speed. Nice. He said, the break's done you good, you look tanned and lean. Thank you, mate. I'm going to keep this up. I've got female attention, I've got compliments, my boxing coach is saying it's good, I'm moving better, this is phenomenal, I'm going to keep on top of this. So I said, tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to have a cold shower and go for a walk. I wake up, my house is freezing. It's like -2 outside, and I was like, put the heating on before I have a cold shower, because like it's just annoying. Okay, so I jump in the cold shower. I've lost an hour because I was waiting for the house to get warm and shit, and I didn't really want to do it. Okay, now it's time to go for a walk. Oh wait, it's raining. It's raining heavy. It's okay. I can skip the one in the morning. It's not going to rain all day. It did, and it rained all week. I just couldn't walk. I couldn't stay on top of it. And it showed me in terms of life setup, like, you have to be in the right location. You have to be in the right place. Now, it doesn't matter that you don't have to be in like necessarily a warm place. I actually think you make more money in colder places because you're less distracted. But it's just like, you got to know what your goals are. If your goals are fitness related, you're probably better off living in a place where you wake up and the sun's shining, it's 5 a.m. and you're like, I'm going to go to the outdoor beach gym, because it just gives you motivation. Everyone around you's in shape. You know, you look at Australians, most Australians are in shape, women, men, etc. Because year round they're on the beaches. Whereas in the UK and stuff, like, people are obese. However, people in New York make more money than people in LA. You know, there's more work being done in London than there is in south of France. You know, you move to the south of France once you've made money, but you probably don't make your money whilst you're in the south of France because it's too distracting. And you gotta understand, it's like when we do the O&M trips, yeah, we work, but we probably have more fun when we're on the trips than we would if we were back home. But you go on those trips to celebrate a win. You know, it's not your entire life. It's like, okay, I just made 40 grand this month, let me just go on a trip. That's what a lot of the members are doing. It's like, I just had a really good month, I had some big wins, things move forward, let me go on a trip, I'll enjoy myself, I'll do a bit of work, and then when I'm finished, I want to lock back in and go again. And I'm going to go back home and really enjoy it. It's about creating that balance, but you got to understand where you're at. And I learned that from what Rob Lipset told me. And I was thinking, so Rob is now walking 3 times per day and taking cold showers. And yeah, I could do it, but I'm going to have to then buy like a rain mac. I'm going to have to make sure that I put the heating on a timer and it comes on 3 hours before I wake up. It's more money, more electricity. I'm also then, you know, you could do it with COP. It's just uncomfortable. You're not going to stick to it if it's too annoying. Then I'm probably going to have to buy some like walking boots, Wellington boots if it's going to rain all the time. Then I have to buy a doormat because if I'm going to keep coming back and it's going to be wet, I'm going to have to dry my shoe. You see what I mean? Like, I'm being awkward there. I'm making it like a pain in the ass, but that's what it is. And then you go, you know, I'm going to be cold when I go on these walks, and then like, it's a pain. Like, you live in a place where it's seasonal, you're going to have to buy multiple different pieces of clothing so that you can match each season and be able to still do the same thing in different moments. Like, it's crazy. It's like this gym outside here. In winter, it can get a little bit cold. In spring and autumn, it's perfect. In summer, it can get a little bit hot. So you have to train in the morning or nighttime. So you change your routine. And it's like when it changes around a little bit, it makes it a little bit more difficult. You have to think a little bit more. It changes your life setup. Whereas like Rob wanting to go for a walk in Marbella 3 times a day, you can probably do that 12 months of the year. Whereas in the UK, I'd be like, well, it's wet, it's windy, it's cold, it's snowing. It's not safe to go out. It's a bit slippery now. There's ice on the floor. You know, you're doing it in London. Okay, you're a guy who's 5'6" and a bit skinny. Don't wear a nice watch. Like, there's caveats. There's caveats. You do it in Dubai, it's too hot. You can't really walk anywhere. You're not going to walk too far before you're like, oh, mate, like, I'm dying. It's like being out in the desert here, quite literally. So you got to base yourself. You got to think to yourself, where do I actually need to be to get the goals that I want to accomplish? I don't think anybody ever really thinks about that. They just go, Dubai, and you're like, yeah, but you're going to be inside with air conditioning all day. You don't walk anywhere. You don't really do anything. You don't really do any cardio outside. And then you're going to be super unfit. And every guy that lives in Dubai that does a boxing fight has 0 cardio. They look super unfit because of desert air, sand. Like, it's not healthy for you, man. You got to know, like, what's your thing? If you're going out there just to be a billionaire who wants contacts and just wants to date escorts, hey, that's your place. If you're going out there because you're a top level boxer and you're going to use it as a training camp, it's probably not the place to go. Do you know what I mean? It's just like everyone I know who goes out there gets unfit and a little bit more lazy. Like, it's not really the place to excel, I think, if you're like an athlete. Do you know what I mean? Like, how many super athletes are you seeing coming out of the Middle East? It's not many, right? It's like, how many world champions are you seeing coming out of the Middle East? It's like, they don't really exist. They're coming out of places like Norway, Dagestan, you know, Brazil, places like that. It's like hillside, people are going for a run, it's cold, you have to work hard. You know, you're swimming in a lake, like Ukraine has produced a few champions recently. It's horses for courses again. It's like, where are you going to base yourself? You got to figure this shit out. So one thing I want to talk about is inbound leads. Okay, so this is like networking coming to you, business people coming to you, deals coming to you, women coming to you, people who want to be in your life socially. Everything just comes to you or through you. Okay, like, this is, I made a lot of money in crypto early on from a company multiple companies, but one of them was called Decentraland, which was Mana Coin. The reason being, it never popped off, but the idea of it was quite clever to me. And it was like, the one thing that I really was excited about is the virtual real estate. It's just nobody really used it, but the virtual real estate idea is like you land inside the map, the game, whatever it was, the virtual world, and the starting point, the real estate was more expensive because that's where everyone lands. So the footfall is going to be massive, just in the same way that you pay for, like, on a prime street in London or New York, you're going to pay more rent. You're going to pay a higher lease because there's more people walking past. So you're probably going to make more sales. You pay for that premium. That is, you know, inbound leads. And I knew that with Mana. I was like, if you land here and you build your thing here, you can advertise your real world store. You can make more sales. It just made so much sense to me. And you want inbound leads in life. You don't want to be in a situation where you're having to chase other people and go after other people, because if you could have people come to you and you can be in a location that sets you up in the right way, like you can sit at a restaurant which is next to a busy street and you have people walking past and you can open conversations, you can just compliment beautiful women and just engage in conversations. You see them, they see you. It's within walking distance where they can just walk over and you can have a chat. Maybe ideally it's right next to you. Then that increases your chances rather than like, hey, do you want to come over? They're never going to come over. Right, so like life setup, proximity, the way that you do that is everything. Like if you can create inbound leads where, you know, you want to get investors, okay, like you can reach out and be like, please invest in my business, and you can send a pitch and whatnot. Yeah, okay, that's like semi-effective. It's not bad. But if you can be in a situation where like maybe you host a networking event for people within that space. So let's say if I wanted investors for O&M to scale this thing to the moon, if I pay for a leisure and hospitality event for, you know, I just call it investors in leisure and hospitality, and I pay some speakers and you can go there and meet people that are in that space and it connects investors with whatever. You probably run 2 or 3 of those events and then you'd find an investor for yourself. That's inbound leads. That's great life setup. Oh, he runs this event and then it brings people to him. Hormozy's business model is getting other people's businesses and, you know, scaling them, getting the equity and whatnot. He does that by talking about business content, and then people who have their own businesses, entrepreneurs, they come to him and they go, can I pay for your services? I want you to scale my business. Oh, okay, this business is great. Now that I'm working on it, I can see the benefits of it. I've added my imprint. I want equity in your business. It's fucking genius. It's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 step strategy. It's congruent. It's all in one line. And you want to do the same thing, because if you're constantly chasing, if you're going after people, it's just, guys, it's not a good idea. Like, let's say, for example, you're like, I want to date models. I want beautiful women. And while I want beautiful women, I want to make high-level business contacts. How am I going to do it? Okay, well, you go and buy a lingerie company. And now you're employing all these beautiful models to do the modeling for you. You know, you got your camera guy there. He's getting all the photos. You're uploading them to the website. You're meeting these girls all the time. Then you host events. You're like, we do quarterly events to celebrate the lingerie launch, blah, whatever. You know, it is what it is. It's the winter ball. It's the Christmas this. It's the whatever. All the models are there. They're all dressed up. So then you get your PR team to be like, hey, to all these rich guys, do you want to come to the event? There's going to be all these beautiful models. It's a lingerie thing. Every single one of them is going to fucking say yeah, unless they're the most dedicated, loyal, married guy, or they've got religious beliefs or whatever, but they're probably all going to show up because they just want to see it. You've now maximized your chances of networking with these rich guys and them investing in the company, and you've maximized your chances of socially people wanting to know you for the right or wrong reasons, but if you can leverage it, great, if that's what you want. And you've maximized your chances of being around beautiful women because they're all going to bring, you tell all the models, you can bring a +1, you can bring a friend. Okay, so now you've just set your life up from one decision, owning a lingerie company. You've just set your life up in the perfect way to get business contacts, social contacts, and to improve relationship situation. Maybe meet your wife. Like, that's life setup 101. That's being a smart motherfucker and building your life in the correct way. That's inbound leads. You never want to build your life where you're chasing people and having to ask people and beg them to come to you. You want inbound leads. Everything you do, you want to build it in such a way that people come to you, women come to you, the world comes to you. People have to go through you to get things done. And if people have to go through you to get things done and they have to ask you first, you've got a higher chance of making things happen. You have to have people wanting to contact you, to reaching out to you. If you have to constantly, like, if I don't do this marketing, if I don't do ads, if I don't do this video, nothing happens. It's like, no, that should be a bonus on top of your main A strategy. And that's what people don't have. Everybody has, like, I have to keep on top of this. If I don't do this, I don't get results. You are one broken leg or one, like, road accident away from being out of business for like 6 months. Like, let's say if you're a personal trainer and you rely on training to get your leads, being like, if you get injured and you don't have income protection insurance, you're cooked. It's like terrible life setup. People run their lives in that way. I think it's insane. Next up, guys, I want to talk about fear of spending. I genuinely think that fear of spending is one of the quickest ways to fuck your life up as a man. I think if you're just hoarding money in the bank and you're just putting cash in the bank, you are going to go broke a lot quicker than what you think you will if you spent it. Because just having money sat there is eventually just going to erode. And if you're not willing to put it into things and grow your life setup and try and push yourself forward, eventually the world's just going to catch up with you and then pass you by. It's the whole Bali thing. Like, let's say you go out to live in Bali to save money. Eventually the world catches up. You know, the world changes a little bit and now you get left behind. It happens time and time and time again. And people don't like spending money. Especially guys in this generation, they think if I just hold like 50k, leave it in my bank account, at least I have 50k. And it's like, yeah, but as soon as you want to buy anything, you're fucked. You're almost living life on like a fake mode. So let's say you live at home with your parents, you have no bills, you have no car and stuff, you have no girlfriend, no kids, whatever. And you're going, I'm balling, I got 50k, I'm making $5 a month, this is amazing. Yeah, but what happens when you have kids, you have a wife, you got to eventually move out, you can't live with your parents forever. You got to then grow your business, you got to then invest in things, whatever it might be. You got to get income protection insurance, you got to get a will done, you got to start buying your own food shopping, repairing your own house and stuff like that. Now suddenly that money evaporates and you go, what happened? I used to have loads of money. Yeah, because you were living life on fake mode. None of it was real. So you should always get used to spending money. It's a good habit to get into. Spending money is a good habit because it shows you that's eventually where you're going to end up. You know, if you're spending money on things like rent, you're spending money on things like a mortgage, you get used to spending money and then your brain says, I need more. Whereas if you get comfortable and you're like, oh, I only need like $1,000 a month to live, you're going to earn less, work less, do less, whatnot. Like, you almost put it in your mind that you don't have to do what eventually you're going to have to do. You know, it's like some guy lives at home with parents and he has a car and he's like, oh, this is easy, life's easy. It's like, mate, you don't have kids or a house yet. Do you know how expensive shit's about to get? You don't even pay for the Wi-Fi, you don't pay for your own food. Like, you have to judge life based on if you did have all those bills, because then that's a fair representation of what the majority of your life is going to be like. Whereas if you're basing it on like 16 to 21, oh, I've got loads of spare cash, it's like, of course you do. Everyone does at 16 to 21. But like, it's like a trading account where they give you 300k to play with. It's like a fake trading account where they're like, oh yeah, it's just play money. We'll give you 300k. Like, then when you do the real thing, even if you had 300k, you would invest differently because now emotion's in the game and you could actually lose it. And people operate differently. So you need to operate at normal standard, what the rest of my life conditions are going to be. And then that gives you a fair representation of how things are going to go. So if you're scared to spend money and you don't currently spend money, you don't invest in yourself, eventually it will catch up on you and you'll be fucked. Like, scared money don't make no money, they say. That's terrible life setup. To just be like, right, I'm going to have zero, and then out of nowhere, I'm just going to know how the world works. It's like, no, you need to get out there, spend money, mess up, waste money, put it into this thing, learn lessons, you get feedback. Like, everyone thinks you have all the answers and then you act. No, you act, you get feedback, you act again, then you have the answers, and then you actually do it real for that attempt. So you've like made all these failed attempts, it's not really gone right, and then you go, we're on our 9th attempt, and I feel as though we're starting fresh for the first time. I feel like we actually finally know what we're doing. Like, that's the summary of this. I feel like we actually finally know what we're doing after putting 200k in on our 9th attempt. I feel like this is like our first actual real attempt. I figured it out now. Like, that's how life goes. And you don't get to that point without spending money, taking risks in life, trying things, and then you get the feedback, and then you go again, then you get the feedback, and then your level of growth is 10x on somebody else. And if you're scared to spend money, you're going to have like an unrealistic expectation of how the world works, and your life setup is going to suck. You're not going to know how anything, you're not going to know what it costs. you're not going to know how to do any of these things. You're not going to know how to operate them properly because you're not in the game yet. You're in the pre-lobby going, this is easy. It's like, yeah, get online and get into like an elite level lobby, and you're just going to get headshotted like that. And then you go, what? I thought I was good at the game. And it's like, you're not even playing yet. You're not even in. You haven't even entered the game. You're just fucking yourself, and it's so stupid to do. Right, guys, next thing I want to talk about is the ability to have skills over just having money. So many of you just think that having money is the key. And let's put two scenarios together. Let's imagine that you've got a boring billionaire, some guy that's got a shit ton of money in the bank, but he's not really doing anything with his life, and he's just kind of like a boring dude. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's not a lot going on and stuff like that. Versus, you know, what's he gonna do? Just sit there, kind of set things up and whatever. Like, he can organize a party, but everyone's just gonna kind of use him. He has assets, but everyone's just kind of gonna use him. Versus a guy who's the life of the party. So let's say there's a guy speaking multiple languages, is like a fucking, can play a piano, is like a poker playing expert. Like, imagine that guy on a night out. Maybe he can sing a little, like maybe he's just got like these different skills, you know, and maybe you have a get together at the house and this guy's just teaching people how to play poker. Maybe he's winning some money. Maybe you all go to the casino. That's a little bit different. He's speaking multiple languages to different groups of people. He is just like a conversationalist. He, you know, is playing the piano, just getting the party started. Like, that sort of person is so appealing, and it just outweighs having money tenfold. I don't think people realize how powerful that really is. Everybody's so hell-bent on just like, I'm going to stack my money up and the world's going to come to me. You guys have got a very rude awakening coming to you if you go on that path, because what you're going to do is you're probably going to dedicate like 10 years to this shit, and then at the end of those 10 years you're going to go, okay, let me just get in the game. And then you're going to be like, but how do I get in the game? What do I actually do? Like, what's the next step? How do I even start a conversation with a human? And you won't realize like how bad your life setup is. And I'll tell you what will happen, because I kind of went through a semi-version of this, and if I hadn't gone out when I was younger and enjoyed myself a little bit, and I'm talking like, I'm not talking like going out and getting drunk and all that sort of stuff, but like when I was younger playing for football teams and, you know, I went out a little bit. If I hadn't done that, I'd have nothing to have fallen back on. I would have had zero experience. Now, is there a better way of doing it? Yeah, the better way of doing it is to go on holiday trips, 5-star resorts, luxury places, spoil yourself a little, live like a king for a day, doing that kind of thing. That's how you get that exposure. You know, you might go skiing, you might go here, but some of you are just sat inside. Some of you are just money home, money home, money home, sleep, money home, sleep, money home, sleep. And you're just stacking the cash up. And I'm telling you now, like, trying to transition is really hard. Like, purgatory, which is why I hate it so much, makes you weird. Because it happened to me. I went from one of the most socially able people, somebody who was super confident, to being petrified to even speaking to a woman, to being petrified to, I couldn't talk to any other men. I was whispering, I was getting voice breaks, I was kind of petrified. I was like, I don't belong, I didn't, like, what's going on here? I'd never had that experience before. That was extremely weird to me. And it was from, wow, I just thought about it. It was only 2 years. It was like 2 years of just completely getting my head down and just locking in, which is great. But like, some of you are doing 5, 6, 7, 8 years. You're just like barely leaving your room. Like, it makes you weird, and it's hard to come out of. It takes a little while to get your skills back. Do you know what I mean? And I just think having social skills is so much more beneficial than just sitting behind a desk. Like, I'll tell you guys something now, and I'll be honest about this. YouTube doesn't make me a lot of money, and I kind of have semi-given up on it. I do it because it's free organic traffic. It helps you guys. It's a passion project of mine. I love it, and I know in the future it's like planting seeds that pay off later down the line. But it doesn't make a lot of money. Social media in general is more just like, hey, we're not a scam. Do you know what I mean? Like, when people search you, they see you have a big audience, you're legit, your face is on camera, and they're like, hey, this guy's not a scam. Like, he has a social footprint, he exists. But you don't make a lot of sales. Like, with O&M, we make most sales from word of mouth, people telling their friends, like, hey, I'm a member, I've got 7 other friends that want to join, I'm going to get them signed up. You make way more sales doing that. Like, we've even had more luck being on trips and bumping into people and they've just been like, who are you guys, what do you do? Oh, this sounds amazing, like I saw you guys on a trip, I bumped into you in wherever. Like, it has much more of an effect. And you don't make a lot of money online, you don't make a lot of money on socials like people think you do. You actually make most of your sales and most of your stuff. Like, you will make more money on the dance floor in Mykonos than you will sat behind your desk in your mum's basement. And this, like, people don't, I don't know why they don't get it. They like this term locking in, they don't understand it. Like, it is actually terrible life setup. You will make far more money driving around London in a Ferrari, making big level connections with some Paulers who will potentially invest in your business and give you, you know, more ideas, and they want to work with you and their network, and they'll give you a tad bit of information that then explodes your brand and 5x's you. If you think, you know, if you sell anything that's less than like £500, you're not going to make more money on social media. It's not that environment. Like, you've got to think about it, right? And I started on social media, but the people that are like locking in and just sitting in their basement, they're pretty weird. Like, self-improvement in general, we were all pretty weird. That's why we found it, because we couldn't get women, we weren't in shape, we weren't the popular kids, we didn't have this, that, everything, whatever. And as soon as people do succeed, they kind of move away from it. So it is just like, it is a big pool of losers, and the people that actually do something about it, they go on to do better things. The people that don't are just in a dopamine loop, just watching the same shit on repeat. They never get out of it. So the last thing that you want to do is have yourself just positioned, you know, just locked in, doing online content, sat in a basement, doing this sort of shit, outreach. It's like, the best work is done in person. Like, it's so much easier to sell people, to make money, to discover things. Like, let's say you're an estate agent, what are you going to do? Like, sell online? Like, get outside, go and speak to people. Like, it doesn't really matter what your job is. You probably get better luck if you go out into the world and you actually meet people. Like, even if you're a gamer, you're probably going to get better luck if you go to conferences, gaming conferences, you meet people. You're probably going to get a brand sponsor if you meet somebody. You're probably going to raise your profile if you stream a little bit and get out into the real world. I don't think people quite understand the power of it. And a lot of you are just sat inside, and it's like, you're going to have a massive shock. You're going to have a massive shock. If you're not willing to like spend on yourself and go out into the world a little bit, you're going to get left behind. It's a dangerous strategy. So next is well-rounded beats one-dimensional every time. So we kind of touched on it there, but I want to go into the straight 7 system for those of you who don't know what it is. Straight 7 system is where out of 10, I always say that it's probably best to be a straight 7 across the board than it is to be a 10 in 1 or 2 areas and a 1 in every other area. An example would be an overweight billionaire. Or an example would be a shredded personal trainer that lives in his mum's basement and drives a shitty car. You're better off just being like a 7 across the board. Like, yeah, he's in pretty good shape, he makes 100 grand a year, and, you know, half decent social skills, dresses well, good hygiene, like drives a nice little BMW and stuff. It's just like, yeah, that guy's a winner. Like, across the board, he's pretty decent. And I think in terms of life setup, framing, etc., you should aim. It's not split focus, because there's certain things that are just like must-haves, like hygiene and whatnot. Like, how can you not have good hygiene? How can you not dress well? I just think it's so easy to do. You're going to be focused on money and fitness anyway, and it's like, why would you not be across the board? I think when you fully dedicate to one thing and you're like, I'm going to be a billionaire, but I'm just going to disregard my health, it's stupid, because you can't do anything. I think it's one of the worst life setup choices you can make, because I think one-dimensional people get used. So a guy who's like super handsome with a great body just kind of gets used for sex, which some of you might think is great. I don't. A guy who is a billionaire who has nothing else, just like some fat old dude, gets used for his money. Maybe there's a rich kid, great family connections, he gets used as well. Like, if you're just very one-dimensional and that's your thing, like tall guys, you know, that's a big one. If a guy's like 6'6" and his height is his whole personality, he kind of gets used for it, where girls leverage him to be like, you know, like, they just want to walk around with a tall guy, wear some heels and just look good and show him off and just be like, yeah, he's 6'6". They just want to tell people my boyfriend's 6'6", and stuff like that. You kind of get used when you're one-dimensional. When you're somebody that's irreplaceable, where you're strong across the boards, you overlap into other areas, which makes you very powerful. Overlapping, expert generalist, that gives you some serious life setup. It doesn't matter what realm you go into, what generation you're born in, what technology pops up. If there's a global virus like we've had, if there's a change of how media is consumed, you know, if it goes from videos to live telesales or something, those type of people can just convert quickly because they're across the board strong. You know, if they have to change their content, if they have to change their strategy, if they have to go from online sales to knocking on doors and doing in-person sales, these people can transfer those skills. And that's why it makes you adaptable. You know, the Charles Darwin quote where it's like, it's not, I think he said it's not the strongest or quickest species that survives. It might be most intelligent as well, but it's just like, it's the most adaptable to change. And you know, it's whoever's strong across the board and who can do the most things. You might lose in year 1 or 2 or a random year, somebody might outperform you, but in terms of life setup, over a whole lifetime, you're going to have the greatest effect, because as eras change and things come into play and certain things are great then and now they're not great, like the clubbing scene when you're younger, and then there's this and that. Somebody who has skills across the board, who is adaptable, is just going to change across the board. You know, any room you go into, you're going to be able to do deals with certain people, you're going to be able to change who you are. That person's emotional, change my kind of my personality type. Okay, I'm going to change to a more logical, practical person to close that person. I'm going to use a bit of humor to close this person. Like, you just don't know how it's going to transfer. And I always just think when you're one-dimensional and you're like, hey, I have money, I'm rich, you want me to pay for things? It's like, you're doomed. You're doomed. If you think that's like life setup, if you think you're going to get rich, buy a nice car, and then your whole world is going to come together, it's almost the polar opposite, where people will use you, laugh at you, and you'll actually be like, oh, being rich is terrible. You got to understand how to use it across the board and be somebody who is, you know, a holistic man, a renaissance man. Having those skills, being a straight 7, being strong across the board. You do the bare basics, yeah, you get yourself in shape, you get your money, and then you build off those. I've always said to you guys, money and fitness is just phase 1. It's like, oh, I've got it now, what happens next? And you're like, oh, the real game starts. You build from there. Just checking the focus, guys, it's all good, right? Yeah, you build from there. That's like stage 1. And then life begins. But before that, it's like, you're just kind of building towards something and just seeing what happens. Doesn't mean you just sit and do nothing. You still got to enjoy your life, because you never know what might happen. But you're building. They're the building years. So next up, I want to talk about buying conversational starters. So, you know, like, there's certain things that people buy which I think are boring. Like, if you went out there and you bought, I don't know, some like, if you bought like a Gucci tracksuit and you bought some Prada shoes and you were bragging to people about them non-stop and you're like wearing logos everywhere, people are like, yeah, alright mate, I don't really care. Okay, but like conversation starters, things that can, there's a story of Elon Musk. Okay, this will explain it better. There was a woman who was dating Elon Musk, and he said to her, he was like, hey, do you want to come back to mine and we can watch this thing on rocket ships? And she was like, he's obviously trying to fuck. They get back to his place and they honestly watch this thing on rocket ships, and then he was just like, see ya. And she was like, I was super intrigued. I think they ended up dating, having some kids together and whatnot. Having things like, imagine if you bought a telescope and you said to somebody, hey, I got like, could be 4 guy friends that you're trying to network with and whatnot, and you're like, hey boys, I've got like a $3,000 telescope at my house, like it's a clear night, do you want to like go back and just see what we can see? Like, personally, as a guy who does have like a high income, high net worth, whatever, if somebody said that to me, I'd be like, yeah, I kind of do. Like, if somebody said I've got a heated pool, I'd be like, yeah, it's kind of like cold, so like I wouldn't mind just like sitting in the heated pool. You got a telescope, like, oh, I've got like a high level pool table at mine, little cigar lounge. I'd be like, yeah, it's like conversation starters. You'd be like, why'd you put this in play? Like, what made you buy this? Are you any good at pool? You're good, aren't you? Are you gonna try and hustle me? Do you know what I mean? It's just like, it just gets things going. Like a telescope, you're like, oh, are you into astronomy? Like, you just kind of, do you know what I mean? Like, what have you seen? What's the best thing you've seen? What can you, like, is it clear? Is it visible? Do you have any photos? Like, things like that. Like, or somebody could talk about, you know, I'm just really into stars and whatever, and you're like, oh shit, I've got a telescope. Like, they're jump off topics that connect to other things. If you go, yeah, I've got a Ferrari, I think people are like, oh yeah, cool, nice. You know, it's like kind of those dickish things that it's like, yeah, it looks good, and I actually think it's fucking amazing, but you can't really like tell people about it unless they ask, what car have you got? And you're like, well, I'm like, I've actually got a Ferrari. Oh really? Like, then it's different, as long as they're a car enthusiast. But I think there's like little You know, if you're into photography and you're like, can I show you some of my photos? Like, everyone goes, yeah. Or like, I'm an artist, can I show you some of my paintings? It's like, fuck yeah, like, show me some of the shit you've done. Do you know what I mean? I think people really appreciate that sort of stuff, and I think if you want to build your life setup, you need to buy more intriguing things, especially in your home. You know, it's like, if you had an office and you were trying to invite clients to your office and you just wanted to like do a meeting with them and whatever, and you were just like, yeah, come to the office. Okay, they might come. If you said come to the office, we've got like a beautiful view, it looks over the shards, and we've got like a balcony, it goes out onto the terrace, and you know, we'll just sit up there, we'll have a glass of red wine and we'll just talk business. Even if I wasn't interested, I'd be like, we'll do it on a Friday. Friday at 5 p.m, I'll be there, let's do an hour. I'll be like, what's the worst that can happen? We're gonna have a wine on a balcony with a nice view and I'm gonna make a contact. It entices you a little bit more. Like, you gotta understand this ethos of like having cooler shit. Like having things that you can use. Do you know what I mean? Like the manor house for 20 million, yeah, great, but like what's in the manor house? Oh, we have a custom built racetrack that is like an exact replica, like a mini replica of like Laguna Seca. I'd be like, I used to play that on a video game, like I'm coming back now. Oh, we have an F1 simulator. I'd be like, yeah, I want to have a go on it. That would be hilarious. We have a cinema in the house. Like these are all things that you can use. Do you know what I mean? That you can enjoy, but I think people think they're going to get rich and then just sit and stare at their house and stare at a beautiful woman and stare at, it's like, no, you want stuff you can use. You know, if you just got a beautiful woman, yeah, you have sex a few times and then you go, what now? I don't even like you. And you'll realize that, because a lot of you haven't got to that stage yet where you've met beautiful women, you've dated them and whatever, and you've hopped into bed with them. Once you've done that a few times, you're like, oh, it's a normal human, what the hell am I doing with my life? This is so stupid, this is meaningless, this is a bottomless pit. You strive all your life for options, and then you get to a certain stage where you go, wait, options never actually mattered. Like, it's switched over to discipline now. It's gone from options to self-discipline. It's like when you don't have it, you think it's the most important thing in the world. Once you have it, then it becomes discipline. It's like, oh, I really want a Lamborghini, I really want a Lamborghini. And then you have one and you go, shit, like, I can't drive too quick. I can't go out of control here. Like, I've got to be a little bit more careful. Like, I've got all this money and I'm going to buy my girlfriend a 400k engagement ring. And then you go, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, now I've got the option to do it. Now I'm actually self-doubting the idea because it's a security risk. Do you see what I mean? Like, there's cooler shit you can buy. There's better things you can do. Like, all the stuff that gets flashed online, it's not actually that great. It looks great and it sells shit. Like, some guy has a baller car and you buy his course because you're a brain dead moron and he's rented it. But like, in reality, it's just like it just becomes a normal car to him. It's actually annoying. It becomes loud. He's driving down the road on 5 a.m. trying to go to a meeting and he's like, got a fucking headache, he hasn't slept. He's like, I wish I just had like a normal comfy car. It's just, or he buys a second one, keeps it just for marketing, runs it as like a way of avoiding taxes and just says it's a marketing thing, puts a sticker on it, puts an @Instagram thing on it and says it's a marketing thing and actually saves money. Like, these people don't take these things seriously. You do, because you watch it on Instagram, you see a flashy video and it's your end all and be all. That blonde girl with the fake lips and big tits, you think it's the end all and be all. In reality, he's just with her because it's a marketing stunt. That's what Dan Bilzerian did years ago. He just saw it as life setup. You know, one of the best life setup people ever. Like, that guy was clever. That guy would spend his money on cool shit. So like, he did this trick where he would pay club promoters commission every time they introduced him to a woman, and if it led to sex, they get commission, a bonus, and if it led to a relationship, they get a big bonus. Like, that's smart. Am I advocating for that? You know, it's kind of sleazy, but like, it's smart at the same time. You know, he's not going out there spending big money on women. He's kind of looking at it as like connections, and you got to like think outside the bubble, guys. I just think so many people are like, I'm going to get money, I'm going to get a car, I'm going to get a house, and everything will fall into place like Jenga, and it's just like, what? Or like Tetris would be a better example. It's just like, no, it's not going to work. It's not like, I don't think you understand that these are just pillars that you build off. Just like assets. You just go, I got this and this, well, what am I going to do with it? I've got all this power. They're like infinity stones that you're wearing, but you still have to do the snap. You still have to think about what you want to do. You still have to manipulate reality. You have to rewind time and all that shit. It's like, they're just stones in a gauntlet. Like, if you don't know how to do it, you're fucked. And that's what people are doing. They're collecting infinity stones with absolutely no end goal and no power. And it's just like, I have no respect for that. I think it's kind of low level. So next up, minor differences make all the difference. And this is going to be a quick one, but I just want to break this down for you guys. So I think if you had a yacht and you have money to maintain a yacht, that's next level, that's great. As long as you used it. But it's like if you had a boat and the boat cost you like 200-300k, but there was a lot of maintenance, you had to clean it, it didn't look that baller, but you could kind of do some cool shit on it, you could get 10 friends on it, it's a speedboat. Maybe you need to get like a license and stuff, and there's a lot of flaff, and you have to like pay for it to be parked and shit, or docked up, should I say. Versus having a jet ski. I think a jet ski is like a 10x on having a boat. I also think like it's a minor difference, but like I think if you have a normal car versus a convertible is like a 10x lifestyle. I think it's that much better. I was saying this to my friend, he's got 2 Ferraris and one's hardtop and one's convertible, and I was like, the hardtop is a better car, it looks better, it's more expensive, but the convertible has better life setup because you feel like you're out in the world, you got the London buildings above you when we drive around. Like if you're a single guy, you can have conversations with people and stuff like that, you know, and you're networking with people, and you like, it just feels more freeing. It's a different experience when you drive underneath like Tower Bridge and you look up, it's completely different. And you know, in summer when you got that heat just blasting into you, you're driving down the roads, like it's a good feeling, but it's a small difference. It's so minute, but I think like it's like, okay, I've got a pool, now I've got a heated pool. A tiny difference, absolutely tiny, but it makes all the difference. Like for example, 2 of those sun loungers over there are doubles. Now, imagine if you had them at your house, and like let's say you've got 2 single sun loungers and you're led on one and you've brought a girl over and she's led on the other. Pretty cool. But great life setup would be having 1 double sun lounger. It was I don't want to give this away because I'm in a relationship now, but a trick I used to do in my old houses is like, if you've got a sofa, it creates distance. If you just buy one of those love seats where they're a bit smaller but 2 people can fit in them, and you just have that in front of the TV, when you watch movies you kind of have to sit together and you have to cuddle. Kind of sleazy, and I don't really want to admit that on a video, being in a relationship, but like I'm just trying to transfer that knowledge over to you guys so you get the idea of like, this is how certain slight differentials change your entire life. You know, like imagine having a penthouse in Battersea in London, which you can see all the pillars and it's all lit up, it's a great view. You put a fire table up there, game changer. You put some patio heaters up there, game changer. So now when it's not raining, you get to use it a lot more. And it rains in London like roughly every 3 days, so you know, you're talking like 200 plus days of the year that you could then use that, game changer. Nobody else has got that, incredible views. You know, when it's firework night, you can invite loads of people up. Hey, we're gonna have a party on the top on New Year's Eve. There's gonna be fireworks going off. Who wants to just like come up here to my place? Mega life setup. And you could buy another place that's the same price that just doesn't have that. Or you could have the rooftop, but you've just not designed it properly. Do you know what I mean? The floor's slippy. It kind of gets damaged in winter. It doesn't look that good. There's all the green moss on it. It looks kind of shitty and like overgrown. You don't have the fire table. You've just gone for like 2 sun lounges like an idiot, even though it's not sunny most of the year, it's not warm. But like having fire tables that are covered up with a like maybe a little gazebo type thing. Not a gazebo, but something higher level. Like a pergola. You have it over the top with lights, and then you have the fire table and stuff, and you can have parties out there. You know, maybe you have like you don't buy the one in the middle, you buy the one on the end, so you can put the speaker on the end as well, and then you can play music and nobody else can hear you. It's like that's what it is. It's those tiny little minute changes that will make all the difference to your life, and I don't think a lot of people understand how this works. I'm just making sure the focus is there, guys. I think it's all good, right? So next up, and I touched on it earlier, you gotta get your social knowledge up. Like, you gotta know the best 5-star hotels, you gotta know the best locations to travel to. You gotta know the best like kind of clubs to go to. I'm not talking like party clubs, I'm talking like beach clubs in Barcelona. I'm talking the best Michelin star restaurants. I'm talking the best rooftop bars. Where do ballers go? Where do the most beautiful women go? You gotta have this kind of knowledge. You gotta know, like, if you don't know the names of these places and stuff like that, like, this is what other people that you want on your level, or the people that you're trying to network with, who you're trying to like be with or whatnot, that's where they go. They go to these places. And if you don't have that knowledge, if your knowledge is just like, yeah, we went to the pub and whatnot, you're going to get eaten alive. If you're sat in your room and your knowledge is like Call of Duty, if your knowledge is like Call of Duty, football, like who won the last 100-meter race in the Olympics, what's going on with Parliament, it's just like, guys, who cares? But I don't actually think that benefits anybody. It's all just noise and nonsense. The latest 2 films that came out, oh, they've got a black woman in the Odyssey. Great, okay. Where do all the billionaires hang out in Cannes? That's what I want to know. Do you know what I mean? Like, give me that level of knowledge. Like, you need to get your knowledge up, otherwise you don't know what you're doing. Like, when you go into these places, you need to know how to operate, you need to know how to speak to people, you need to become articulate, you need to know how to present yourself, body language, confidence training, eye contact, these sort of things. If you don't have these skills, you're going to get eaten alive. That's good life setup and framing. People focus on the wrong shit. People are so distracted with things that don't matter. Like the, what's his name? You know, Alex Jones, when he was like, Magellan is so much cooler than Justin Bieber. That's what it is. People are obsessed with Justin Bieber. And you need to be obsessed with things that are actually going to benefit your life. You need to build up your knowledge base, because right now it sucks. And you have the knowledge base of a 14-year-old child, even though you're 30 years old. And finally, in this kind of bracket, I want to talk about the VRIN score. So the VRIN score is a business concept. It stands for value, rarity, anonymity, and non-substitutional. So you've got to judge yourself and build yourself in terms of life setup and framing across that criteria of 4. How much value do you provide, and what does your life provide? You know that thing earlier where I said spend the money on you, not her? That's why. Your value, what is it out of 10? Rank yourself. Rarity, how rare are you? We went through that. That's self-explanatory. You got to add that up for yourself. You know, what do you have that's rare? Is your lifestyle rare? You're a rare individual. Are you what I call trace nuts? Trace nuts is like, you know, when you read a bar of chocolate or something, it says may contain nuts, like traces of nuts. You're so rare, like you're a guy that has this stacked up, that you basically don't exist. You're trace nuts. It's a concept I came up with years ago. And if your rarity is high, out of 10 again, rank yourself. Anonymity is like, how quick can somebody learn what you do or do what you do? So I've put so much money into this business now that nobody can really replicate it. So if you go, I'm going to do what Chris does and have that lifestyle, you can't. You can't. You probably don't have that level of money. If you want to invest that money, it's such a risk. Just to play catch up to where I am now is almost impossible. But good luck, you know, if anybody wants to try. It's stuff like that. You've got to make yourself kind of uncatchable. Like, can people learn? Can people get your knowledge? If you hired some fucking high-level people for expensive amounts of money, have you thrown money into this? Have you learned? Have you done the market research? Because people aren't willing to do that. And if you have that knowledge, you win. Now, finally, non-substitutional. How easy are you to replace? Like, can a woman just get rid of you tomorrow and then just go and find another version of you? Oh, he's a good listener. There's another good listener around the corner. Believe me, if a guy wants to get laid, he's a good listener. Or like, if you had, you know, like that Battersea penthouse, and she remembers New Year, sat there with you, chilling, and maybe you got cooking skills and you were cooking for everybody and you brought all the food out, and she's like, how the hell do I replace that? That guy was great. Like, he did things that other guys that I've met could never even get close to. He was the life of the party. You know, are you non-substitutional, or are you just another clone with money? Because if that's you, just move to Dubai and just blend in with the background. You're wallpaper. You need to be trace nuts. Right then, guys, in this section, I want to talk more about energy and efficiency. So, number one, without energy, you have nothing. You have absolutely nothing without energy. There's no point trying to do anything else. So, you know, you could have the best life set up in the world, all the money, you could frame yourself to be a certain person. If you're always tired, you're always sleepy, then you're fucked. So there's certain things you need to do. You need to have better life habits. You need to put yourself in a position where you're not always being drained. You need to have low stress levels. You need to be able to take your breaks every now and then, because if you don't have them, you're fucked. Like, okay, let's say you've got money, great life setup, great framing. You manage to get a woman, you bring her home, and then you're just like too tired to do the job. What's the point? Everything's just gone out the window. It's pointless. You know, you organise the greatest night ever and you're asleep by 10 p.m. It's pointless. Like, one thing you need is energy. Like, you need to optimise your entire life to have the highest energy levels. Because if you don't have them, nothing's going to go to play. Okay? It's like one of the most essential things you can have. Next up, how you build your life around your travel. Okay? So, if you're travelling all the time and you're not optimizing that so that you can get more work done, you're going to be in trouble. And if you're not optimizing your kind of like health along the way, so if you're going to airports and you're eating shit food, you're going to the gym but you're not recovering, you're just like on a plane trying to half sleep, like slanted up against the seats like that, it's just going to mess you up. You're going to look tired, you're going to have bags under your eyes, it's not good. If you've got like a 2-hour commute to work every day and back, you are wasting 4 hours of your day. Why? Unless that job pays you a crazy amount of money, if that job pays you $250,000 and the money you save by living 2 hours away is saving you 100K per year instead of living in Manhattan, for example, then yeah, fair enough. I get it. But in most scenarios, some guys they're driving 1 hour to work, and it's like, so you're paying for your car, you're paying for this, you're paying for that. It's just like your life setup is built around work. If you just work somewhere closer and you could walk, you could spend that money on something that is considerably better. You could invest that into something that's actually going to make you more money, and then you could go further in life. Like, some people make their own lives harder, and I don't understand that. They have low energy because they're like, well, I have to get up at 5 because I got to get to work for 7. It's 2 hours away, and it's just like, and then they go and I finish at 6 and I don't get back till 8. And if this traffic is 9, it's 10. I don't get to watch TV. I don't get to see the kids. I don't get to see the wife. It's your fault. That's terrible life setup. That's making you tired. It's ruining your relationship. You're going to go through a divorce. You're not going to see the kids. You're going to be gaining weight because you're never eating properly. You're always going to be sat in traffic. You're going to be stressed. And then you're going to blame everyone else. You're going to blame the world. And it's like, this is something you've done to yourself. You put this in place. It's like having kids before you're ready for them. You haven't got the money to have kids yet, and you go and have kids, and then you go, these fucking kids taking all my money. It's like, it's your own fault. You set your life up poorly. You did the wrong things. It's like everything that you do is a conscious decision to make your life as good as possible, to give yourself mini male advantages. Like, people used to say to me when I was in my late 20s or like early 30s, like I'm talking like 30, 31, they had kids and they were like, well, it's all right for you because you're, and I was like, because what? I was like, I just chose not to have kids yet. I was like, I just wanted to build something. It's not like you got dealt a bad hand. Like, you had sex. You purposely had sex. You didn't pull out. It wasn't by accident. Do you know what I mean? You plan to have kids, but they go, it's all right for you. And it's like, well, you know, there's pros and cons of both. I've just picked a lifestyle that, because I want kids eventually, but I was like, I just picked a lifestyle that was more congruent with me becoming more successful, being more selfish, and building something that was better, that could give me better life setup. Like, everything you do is a conscious decision. Like, how much it ruins your life setup to have a kid with the wrong woman that you're not going to be with forever, and you break apart and you've got to do this split relationship thing where the kids just see you on weekends. Like, do you know how much that damages your life and your finances? It's one of the worst decisions you can make. It's terrible. Next up is having a gym at home or nearby. I mean, there's a gym outside. You guys saw it earlier. We built a gym here. It's like £25,000 worth of equipment. I'm actually going to do a video soon on like how to build your own home gym, like what needs to be included, how I did it. But there's a gym here and it makes it easy. When it's sunny, you wake up in the morning, you could wake up with your shorts on and literally go and train and dive in the pool. And then, you know, sit and have some food, have a shower, and it's not even like 8 a.m. because it's just so easy. You're just thinking, well, I don't have to go far. I can train immediately. It's sunny, I'm outside, I'm having fun, it's exciting. You wake up and you're like, I want to go to the gym. However, poor life setup would be joining a gym that's like an hour away. Are you going to travel to a gym an hour away in December 17th? On December 17th, I'd be like, it's nearly Christmas, it's an hour away, can I really be bothered? I'll go tomorrow morning. And then you end up not going, you end up chilling, watching a movie or something. And it's like, just make things easier for yourself. You know, if you're sat in an uncomfortable chair and you're complaining that like, I can't get work done, it's like, get yourself a comfy chair, get yourself a desk that is at a good height, get yourself a standing desk, something you can move around. You know, if you're in a loud environment surrounded by other people, it's like, just move yourself somewhere else, go and find somewhere to work. It's like, people just make their lives harder. Why sign up to a gym that's hard to get to, that's always overcrowded? That it's like, give yourself reasons to want to go. If you want a good body, then, you know, try and put a gym on your doorstep. Every successful person I know has a gym in like their office, in their garage, in their shed. Just has it on site to save money. There is no point getting in your car, driving somewhere. And you know what? When you go to the gym, you just meet people. And they start chatting with you like you got all the time in the world. Next thing you know, you've been at the gym for 2 hours, 3 hours. And you're like, I only came here for 40 minutes. I had a meeting. Like, I got to rush back now. I got to cook food. My recovery's not gone properly. Do you know what I mean? Like, you almost need to be meticulously autistic with your timing. Like, right, the gym is downstairs, I'm going to do 40 minutes, I'm going to come back up, shower. Within an hour, I would have eaten food, and I'm back at my desk working again. It's like, that's the level of life setup that you need. That's what puts you in a perfect position to perform at your best. Next up is, the age-old question of, should you get a cleaner, driver, PA, chef? Should you get all of them? Does cooking make you broke? Does driving make you broke? Look, it's massively beneficial to have more time back on your hands, and you want less stresses. The more things you can outsource, the better. But early on, obviously, if you haven't got the cash to do that, and even middle grounds, like, it's expensive to have. But yeah, I do think you should start employing a few of these people over time. Like, cleaner is kind of essential. It's not hard to do, and I actually think it's good for your masculinity to get shit done yourself. But it's just energy. You've only got so much time and energy, and you kind of need to outsource as you get bigger. PA. Yeah, it's pretty decent. It can help you with a lot of stuff. Driver, yeah, it stresses me out. I don't like driving anymore. I used to love it. Gives you like backache and stuff on the long drives. Get somebody else to do it. Chef, come on, like, it's not hard to cook, and it's a big expense. Now, if you're making enough money, yeah, get a chef. But I think for the average guy, chef's not worth it. But if you're balling out of control, yeah, chef, because you're going to be more inclined to want to eat healthy, which is great for your life setup. And then it frees up more time and stuff like that. Like, if you can do it, fantastic. Because sometimes you cook yourself healthy food and you're just like, can I be bothered? This tastes like shit. Whereas when a chef does it in a restaurant, you're like, this is phenomenal. It's completely different. And if I was sat here now talking to you guys and a chef just went, food's ready, I'd be like, brilliant. Like on a lot of the O&M trips, we have chefs. When we're in Bali, we'll probably have another chef. It's great when you're just like, you're doing some work, you're training, you're swimming, you're in the pool with the boys, you're laughing and joking, and then they're like, right, go and get ready because food is like 30 minutes away. And you're like, I haven't done anything and I'm about to eat a massive meal, and I've saved myself 2-3 hours where I've socialized, I've done some work, I maybe filmed a video. That's pretty cool, especially when, like, on the last Bali trip, we were out shooting guns. I think we were shooting guns at the time. We were starving. We came back to the house. We walked in, and the chef had like already started cooking, and we could smell it all. We met the guy, his assistant, and stuff. And it's like we saved that much time, and we still get to have a great night. And then we don't have to wash up afterwards. That's pretty essential. So, I mean, that's like a choice. I think if you're making crazy money, you should get all of them. If you're making basic money, I think cleaner, somebody to do your laundry. Yeah, that's the big one, because the last thing you want to do is go to get ready and you look like shit. You just want your stuff ready, you want your house clean, you want it immaculate. It is a big help, and it takes a few hours. Next up is what you want. You want to live in an area where a short walk leads to a lot of interactions. So if you go on a 20-minute walk and you end up bumping into nobody, like it's the middle of nowhere, it's not that effective. You want a short walk. So like when I was in Canary Wharf in London, if I just went on a walk for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes around the block, maybe, to be fair, it usually took like 30 minutes, maybe more, I would probably see like 5,000 to 10,000 people, if not more, probably 20,000 people, depending on the time of day. But you'd always bump into people. On a Saturday, you'd always bump into people. The tube lines were really close. So, when you're in your apartment, you're working, and you're just like, I just want to go for a quick walk. It keeps you sharp because you're talking to people, you're bumping into people, you're asking for a coffee, or like, sorry mate, yeah, you go through, you come here. It keeps you sharp. You end up having a ton of conversations with people. You have potential like date opportunities on your doorstep. So as soon as you walk outside, within a minute or two, you've seen somebody. There were hotels next to me and stuff. So there's like tourists coming in all the time. You're speaking to them and whatever. There's people in your building. It's essential. I think that's a great life setup ploy. I think being isolated when you're young is kind of silly. Now, if you've got family, kids, whatnot, I still don't think it's great. But you can see the benefit of it because it's you and your unit. You're kind of building your own compound. But if you're a guy that just wants like a good life, it's just so essential to be where things are happening. To be like, you just want a short walk to be able to just be in the thick of it. There's... I don't think it's a great area, but there's an area called Wapping in London, and it's really quiet. And then you walk like 2 minutes, and you go through this gap, and you're in like you got Tower Bridge right there, and there's millions of people walking around, and it's crazy. You go from quiet to people being there. If you can create a situation like that where it's just, hey, there's nobody here, and then within 5 minutes of a walk, you're like, oh, there's thousands of people, there's millions of people. This is amazing. Then that's a really solid life setup, because then you have the choice and the balance of the two, which is essential. Next up is an airport close by. I cannot tell you how much money that's going to save you, how much time that's going to save you. It's pretty essential. You've got a higher chance of getting empty leg private jet flights as well. If it's like I need this now, it's only like 2.5k, I'm jumping on it. You know, like that's a weapon if you really need it. It's like a last opportunity. You're going to have more taxis there. You're going to have somewhere to park your car. It's going to be quick, easy down the road. Maybe you jump in a taxi, it takes you to the airport, you're gone. You know, you're going to save hours if it's nearby. I used to live in a place called Cheltenham, and it took 12 midday to around about 6 p.m. to actually get to the airport. That's how bad it was with transport, and then getting across London, it was so bad. And the nearest airport with a taxi might have been like 2 hours away, hour and a half away. It was awful. Like door to door, it was like hour and a half, 2 hours away. Flying from London ended up, which most of the flights were 6 hours just to get to London. I remember we flew to Marbella to film with Rob Lipset. I left my house at exactly midday because I remember it. We arrived at 1 a.m. Spain's 1 hour ahead, but it was 1 a.m. Spain time. So it was like, 12. So it took 12 hours to get from my door to the apartment in Marbella. That's half a day wasted. Fatigue, travel, shit food, no gym, no recovery. It's not great. That's not going to help your body. It's going to waste your time. You'll wake up the next day, be tired. You need a recovery day before you can get back to like your full work schedule, even though we didn't. And it's not good. Like if you can have an airport close by, I could have narrowed that down from 12 down to probably, with waiting time, maybe like down to 4-5 hours to do the whole journey. And when I lived in London, it would be like a 4-hour journey to get somewhere. Like I was like, 4 hours ago I was here, and now I'm here. It's pretty crazy. And then, if you can do the private jet thing on empty leg, you might be able to do the whole thing in, I saw one earlier. It was Paris to London, 55 minutes. And Paris is 1 hour ahead of London. So you would leave Paris at 9, get to London at 8:55. So you're actually saving 5 minutes. You actually get to London 5 minutes earlier than what you left Paris. Being able to be close to airports and set stuff like that up is essential. And like having contacts with empty legs, being able to have a look and just see like what is available. Just having that level of knowledge and life set up and having contacts that you can call and be like, have you got anything in the area? Having apps, empty leg apps. We're looking at adding one into the booking system into O&M. So you guys can scroll and go, ooh, I have £1,000 referral codes. This is 3k. I can get it down to 2. It's for 8 people. All of us can throw in a bit of change and we're off. £250 each and we're going. It's like, that's the same price as a normal flight. So, just having that kind of knowledge can take you places. And next up in this bracket of efficiency and energy is all work or all fun. Neither are smart setups. So if you're a guy who's going out and partying all the time, it sucks. If you're a guy who works all the time, it sucks. You need a bit of a balance. And we were discussing this earlier upstairs. We were saying that there is no like structure. There is no real structure. There is no when should you work, when should you lock in, when should you have fun, when should you whatever. It's done based on what's popping up at the time. And that's why the O&M model is so good, because like you sit there and you do your work for maybe a month, maybe 2 months. And then we say, we've booked a Bali trip, or we've opened this, we've got these tickets or whatnot, we're going to this boxing ringside or whatever. We've booked a meal, private chef, whatnot, and you go, or you come out to the house here in Granada. We've added a pool here. Okay, I'm going to fly out. I really want to use it. I'm going to take a week to relax. I'm pretty tired. You do that, have a bit of fun, relax. You don't work as hard as maybe you did before. Maybe you do. Maybe you sunbathe. Choice is yours. And then you go, shit, I'm getting bored of this. Like, I really need to work. I'm getting, that feeling where you're like, I really need to work. I feel disappointed in myself. I need some discipline. That happens. And then you go, I really want to work. I want to get back to work again. Now you're motivated to work. You work for 2-3 months, maybe a month, and you get pissed off again. You're like, I'm getting stressed. I'm tired. I feel like I don't have a life. Okay, then go and do something life-worthy. Go and have some fun. And that's that. Like you need a balance of the two, but they're not balanced. You just kind of do it when you feel like doing it. Like if it hits me, if I just go, fuck this, I need a break. I'm going to the beach with my girlfriend, 5-star hotel in Marbella for 2-3 days, and I'm just going to do nothing. I'll bring my laptop, but I'll probably do nothing. And I'm like, I'm just going to chill with you. I'm going to have some food, I'm going to have some pancakes, have a few matches. Who cares? I'm just going to sit on the beach, have a sunbathe, we're going to have a swim. I don't care. And I'm like, because Monday onwards for like 3 weeks, I say to her, I'm like, babe, I'm locking in. I'm cleaning up my diet. She's like, okay, no worries. I'm like, let's enjoy this, but I got to do it. Like, this is a big 3 weeks for me. I need to be locked in. And that's how you do it. And then at the end of those 3 weeks, I might be like, I've still got energy. I've made loads of money. This is great. I'll see her a couple times, then I'll push for another 2 weeks, and I'll be like, do you know what? I just need a break. I'm tired. Like, I just need 2 days off. I'm going to watch a movie. I'm going to go and see my girl tomorrow. We're going to have some food, stay somewhere. You know, maybe we go I don't know. Like, it's just, you just do something different. Maybe I have a day off here at the house and I'm just like, I'm just going to swim, lift weights. Like, it's the same with the gym. It's like sometimes your gym schedule is like that. And then sometimes you got free time and you're like, okay, I'm going to do 3 hours a day or 2 sessions a day. I'm just going to really push it. Bali's coming up. Let me just really do what I need to do. And let's just put on a bit of size. Let's bulk. Let's eat right. Let's go to bed early. Let's get prime sleep. Let's train twice a day. Let's do 2 hours, 2 hours. Let's lift heavy. Because I know that I'm going to have crazy disruptions in my schedule in 2-3 weeks time. Like that. That's the mindset that you need. You need to keep like just judging at the time where it's at. People say, how much should I work? Should I take this day off? It's like, just do that with it. How do I feel? Play around. Do I need a break? Yes. Do I need a break? No. Let me keep pushing. Have I got a busy month even though I'm tired? Then yeah, do the work. Don't stop because you're tired. Just do the work. And then you go, because I know when it's finished, the week after I've got nothing to do and I'm going to go on holiday. I'm going to take the week off because it's going to be a big moment for us. We're going to succeed. We're going to have this accomplished. You can balance it. That's good life setup. I don't know why people try and do 100% of one or 100% of the other. You just become a weirdo, you burn out, or you become like a drunk with no money. You just kind of become that party guy in his 30s that has nothing going on. Like, both are shitty strategies. So next up for life setup is financials and protection. And this will be the final kind of chapter that we're going to break down. So first of all, it's kind of a mindset rule that I want to give you guys for this bracket. What you should do is slow and secured. Okay, everything that you do, slow and secured. So many of you are going, right, so Chris, if I do my life setup, if I go and buy an expensive car, if I do this, if I add this, by the time I have this, if I had that this summer, I'm going to have this, and the woman, and the blah, 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 and the body, and it's like, you're young, take your time. It's a long game. It's a mastery of a long game. It takes fucking forever. Life setup, framing, a lot of you don't like it because you're dopamine addicted and you want Iman Gadzi's course that's going to make you successful next week, even though he didn't become successful off the thing he's selling you, which it drives me nuts. It's literally a PDF in an industry that he failed in, but you all still buy it, even though you have the world's greatest fucking product in this industry's ever seen here. But never mind, it drives me insane. People are stupid. But, you know, like, how do you expect it to happen that quick? Oh, I'm going to, like, if I buy it, I'm going to be a millionaire. Well, how many sales has he made? How many other people are buying the exact same course to do the exact same thing, to start the exact same agency? It's like, trust me, it doesn't work. Trust me, you make all the money off selling the course, not doing the fucking business, you muppets. Switch your brains on. Like, let's say if he's as rich as he says he is and he's done 500,000 sales, for example, let's say. Like, how are 500,000 people going to start the same business doing the same methods that are being taught? And they're all basic, you know, first tier level methods. How is everyone going to take those and become successful? It's just like, guys, come on, please switch your brain on. Like, it's not going to happen for everybody. It doesn't work like that. Just like if 500,000 girls joined OnlyFans tomorrow, you really think like all of them are going to be millionaires? It's not going to work, right? Competition's a real thing. It's like, it's just, I don't know how people are this dense. People are so stupid. It's not going to work. But slow and secured. Don't overextend. Don't try and spend too much. Don't try and speed it up. Like Hormozy always says, you're in a rush. It's taking a long time because you're in a rush. And that's what a lot of you are doing. You're in such a rush to have perfect life set up, the perfect life. It's like, I can promise you it's not going to work. If you're trying to force this shit over the line, it's all going to fall apart because you don't know what you're doing. You don't have that skill set yet. You don't have that knowledge. You try and live the life that we live here at O&M and you don't have that knowledge early on, you're going to get eaten alive. You're going to get laughed at. You're going to go into certain venues, not know what you're doing. You're going to dress incorrectly. It's like, there's a certain etiquette. There's a certain level of man. Like, you're not going to be at that level. And you don't understand how this shit works. You don't understand how to network. Like, you don't understand how to have conversations and not embarrass yourself and whatever. How to walk into certain rooms and hold the room and hold the attention. And, like, do you have those skills yet? It's like, no, okay, so don't rush it. Like, some guy's gonna get rich off crypto and his first car is gonna be a Bugatti. And, you know, it's like, bro, you can't handle that car. You've never driven before. Like, you literally passed your test and bought a Bugatti as your first car. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're going to crash it. Like, you see celebrities crashing cars all the time, and people are like, why are they always crashing? Because they're like 21 years old. It's like the second car they've ever driven. They have no idea. They've not gone up through the stepping stones. And it's the same with your skill set. You've not been through those steps. You're going to struggle. Just as the same as, like, if I learn a new skill, like, I'm just not going to be good at it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, like, I'm not good at chess. If I started playing chess now, I'd be like, I'm not going to beat some grandmaster. I'm going to get destroyed. But for some reason, people think that they can. With money, for some reason, people think it's easy. Like if I said to you, could you beat Prime Floyd Mayweather in a boxing fight? Could you beat Khabib in MMA? You'd say no. If I said to you, what about 10 years training? You might still be like, I think I'd still struggle, but yeah, make it a bit easier. But when I say, do you want to make, like, how do you make money? People go, yeah, but like this time in 6 months, I'll be a billionaire. It's like, you're all fucking stupid. You're all so delusional. It drives me insane. Like, you're setting your lives up in the worst possible way, spending money on PDFs. You're literally buying PDFs off children who are sons of billionaires. Like, the person in question, his stepdad is a billionaire, and you're buying his PDF to try and become successful in an industry that he didn't become successful. You're buying, like, TJR's fucking PDF on how to trade when he didn't become a successful trader and made no money from it. Like, Luke Belmar was the same. I said that isn't going to work. And all of you dive in head first going, he's promised me that I'll get rich quick. And it's like, can you stop this? Like, it takes a long time. It's a building game. It's a skill set game. Grow the fuck up and stop trying to force this shit over the line. You have to change your mindset. Like, I'm 33 years old. I've been working on this for a long time. And in my head, I'm still like, okay, I've got a 7-year plan until I'm 40 to put this business exactly where I want it to be. 7 years and I'm already successful. And I'm still like, okay, be patient. Keep putting this in play. I've got a bigger plan here. I've got a girlfriend that I think is going to end up being the wife. I want to have kids with her. Okay, I've got a bigger plan. Like, let's take our time. Let's slow it down. Go slower. Like, what is it that we're working on? Okay, well, it needs to be meticulous, because if we make mistakes, it's going to crumble. It's a house of cards. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't build a building quickly, do you? Like, you make sure there's a survey, the footings are done. You make sure that there's no issues beforehand. Like, you check everything. Like, all the way down to fucking tree roots that could be falling over and, like, disrupting the house. Like, you go through everything. You're meticulous. You don't just go, forget about it. It'll do. Let's build a skyscraper with jelly. That's what a lot of you are trying to do. Yeah, it'd be quick. If we do it with jelly, though, it'd be quicker. Like, it's cloudy, there's no wind, it'll be fine. And then tomorrow it rains, and you're like, why'd the jelly skyscraper fall down? You just, like, it actually drives me nuts. Like, how people would rather buy a PDF than actually, like, exist in the real world and get real world value from something that's... People would rather call this a scam, which is hilarious, than buy a PDF that has, like, 0.1 star reviews from everyone who's ever bought it. And it's just because a lot of you just like the idea of sitting inside. You think you want it to be easy. You think it's going to be easy. You want it to be easy. You think you can do the shit. It's a skill. Life is a skill. Everything's tough. Life setup is the same. So, you know, when you're setting up your finances and stuff as well, don't rush this shit. Don't go outside of your comfort zone, outside of your budget and go, right, I've got 10k. I'm going to buy a watch for 8 and I'll still have 2 to pay my bills. Like, just, you're not ready for that yet. That's stage 9. Just wait. Slow it down. Slow it down. You don't have that yet. Build. You're not ready for it. Like, network. Get around the right people. Be around people that can show you how to become mega successful. Like, spend all your money on networking, knowledge, meeting the right people, getting that up. Because that, like, if you have 20k saved, 30k, 40k, 50k, you can't do anything with that anyway. Like, what are you going to do? Buy a house, buy a shed, buy a motorcycle, a push bike? Like, what is 50k? It's not going to get you anywhere. You need to use that to grow this to make more money. Like, it's just, or grow this to get the knowledge, to improve your life setup, to get your skills, to make your life easier and better. It's a skill set. People who think there's cheat codes, they think they can fast forward their shit. It's not going to work. You need to take that little pool of money you got, that 10, 20, 30k, put it into something that's then going to make you more money, which would be something like, you know, knowledge base, being around winners. When you're around winners, when you're around high level people, it works. You know, like Hormozy says, the kind of like most accurate indication that somebody's going to be successful is their zip code. But it's because they're around successful people. They're seeing it all the time. When it rubs off, success leaves clues. You know, you get that knowledge from people. I don't know why people don't understand this one. Next up is residual money, okay, and location freedom. If you want great life setup, you need to be able to make money residually. You need to be able to make it while you sleep. It's not 100% essential. You can do it from a high-paying 9-to-5 job, but it helps. Location freedom helps. There's no point having the 4 houses if you're like in a 9-to-5 job and you can't use them. You can still have 2. You could have a holiday home if you have to be in a set location, if you have kids and they have school. But it hampers your life setup quite a lot. It reduces your flexibility, your agility, your freedom. So, you know, if you're going to do it, you need to make sure, I'm just looking at the world's biggest bug just coming in. Sorry guys. Old school first man stuff then. Distraction. What was it? Pigeons on the balcony, I think was the famous one. First man out of context. So yeah, it's self-explanatory. The more freedom you have, the easier it is. So next up is always try and find a cheaper way unless it starts to affect your time. So if you're like, yeah, but I'm doing this to save time, I'm doing this to save money, but it ends up taking 4 fucking hours, forget about it, move on, spend the money, move on. But always try and look for a cheaper way. So like, just because you have money doesn't mean that you burn your life setup, doesn't mean that you burn the candle at both ends, because it's just going to die up at some point. Like, you can't do that. So, you know, it's like, if you want to get a product, but then the one in China is cheaper, but it's the exact same product, just get the one in China. Like, don't be proud and be like, but I'm a millionaire. So it's like, no, still go and get it. If you can buy furniture from somewhere cheaper, but it's the same shit, go straight to the supplier, go and get it from China. You know, if somebody's trying to haggle you on price, if somebody's trying to give you a shitty price or something, you know it's wrong, don't just accept it because you're rich. There's a mug's game. Try to be like, no, I'm not paying it. Like, drive that down. £20 for a sandwich. Eat shit. I'm not buying it. You know, you have to have that mindset. Otherwise, it's going to then impact your finances, which impacts your life setup. It's not a good way to operate. Next up is multiple bank accounts. You have to have multiple bank accounts because you could get hacked. You could have it closed down. The bank could crash. Something could happen. You need to have it for better life setup. It protects you. It's one of the ultimate forms of protection. Like, not having multiple bank accounts is wild. And it's like, let's say you have, I don't know, 200k in your bank account or whatnot. Try and split that up. Try and put 100k in one, 100k in another. Like, I just don't know why you wouldn't, because you've basically got all your eggs in one basket right there, and everything could go south quickly. Like, just split it up. You never know. It's just in case. It can happen. You know, maybe take 50k out, put it in a safe, buy some gold, put it in a safe. Just have some sort of option if you can. Like, diversify it a little bit. Just be a little bit smart. Like, just 2 bank accounts. 2 bank accounts. That's all it takes. You could get hacked. Somebody could steal that money. It's just like, what are you doing? Just have multiple bank accounts, multiple banks. It gives you different options. Like, one could go under. You don't know when another 2008 is going to hit. You don't know what's going to happen. I'm sure people thought Lehman Brothers was solid as a rock. You just don't know. You know, you don't know what is going to happen with some of these big financial institutions. Many will get bailed out, but you just don't know. So just be careful. Next up is multiple passports. This is obviously self-explanatory again, because you just don't know what's going to happen. It gives you more areas to be able to go to. It gives you more options. It gives you tax benefits. It allows you to just set up in multiple countries. And you don't know when there's going to be a pandemic or a war or something like that, and you need to get the fuck out ASAP. So multiple passports. I actually find it crazy how, like, people are spending all their time on, like, Hinge, Tinder, dating apps and whatnot, trying to get girls, and it's like, and they're spending a lot of money on dates, and you think, you could have spent all that money on acquiring a second passport, second residency, setting up bank accounts, building stuff like that, setting up your life setup, putting something in play that allows you to then avoid taxes or reduce your taxes. Fucking brilliant. Great way to spend your money, but everyone's spending it on shit that doesn't matter. It's all distractions. You know, people are buying, like, a Gucci tracksuit and a handbag for their woman. It's like, do you have 2 passports? Do you have 2 bank accounts? What the fuck are you doing? Like, you haven't even set your life up properly. You are 1 month away from destruction, as I've said before. You could be killed so easily here. Like, you got to be agile. You got to set some shit up. Next up is holding companies. Learn holding companies. Learn how to set them up. Learn how to set them up in certain countries. Essential for life setup. I won't go into detail. If you're a member of O&M, I'll sit you down and I'll explain it one-to-one. That's the kind of knowledge that you pay for. But I'm not going to do it on a video. Next up is seasonal protection. So it's raining, it's cold, your girlfriend or wife is pissed off, she's freezing, she doesn't look as good, she's gone all white, and she's just like, I'm depressed, I've got seasonal depression. Oh, I have a home in the south of France and it's currently 25 degrees. Come on, babe, let's go. Like, being able to set up for seasons is so essential. Like, if it's the height of summer and you have a little beach house, it doesn't have to be expensive. Guys, do you know how much of a weapon that is to have a beach house in the height of summer? You know, or you could be stuck somewhere in the city centre like London, you're sweating your balls off. Now, I do actually think London's the best place in the world in summer, but not many places have air conditioning. If you have air conditioning, it's the best place in the world. If you don't, you're in trouble. and you could have the worst 3 months of your life. When I was in Cheltenham, didn't have air conditioning. I was in a penthouse. It was like a greenhouse. It would get up to 50 fucking degrees in that house, 60 degrees. It was horrible. It was unbearable. I couldn't live there. I had to move out. It was making me depressed. One of the estate agents came up because he thought I was exaggerating, was in there for 30 seconds, started sweating, had to leave. I was like, bro, you can't live here. I couldn't sleep till 2 in the morning. It was horrible. And that's poor life setup. If I had just had a holiday home somewhere, or if I wasn't locked into my contract that I'd paid in advance, which is kind of stupid, where I'd paid like 2 years up front, I could have left. I could have been like, do you know what? Give me a month. I'm moving out. It's too hot. Didn't realize summer was going to be like this. And I'm going to use that money somewhere else. It's going to be better spent for the next 4 months elsewhere. You know, if you have 2 properties, you move out, go to the other one. Now you're locked in, you're still working. But it was affecting my work. I couldn't get anything done. I was editing YouTube videos and I was sweating. I had to buy air conditioning unit and it cost a fortune. It ended up being like £700 a month to run on electricity. It was awful. It was awful. Like, it was just the worst summer of my life. I hated it. And, you know, the following summer I was gone. I'm not staying here. I was like, it's going to be awful. And, yeah, you need seasonal options. Like in London, in Christmas, it's fucking horrible. You want to get out of there. Where I used to live in Cheltenham, is Cheltenham races. 250 drunk men used to come in. 250,000 drunk men used to come into town. I was like, I'm out of here. You want to be able to have that money to leave, to have options, to get up and go, to have places around the world you can jet to. You know, if they say, oh, there's a big storm coming in the UK for the next 2 months, get the fuck out of there. You know, if there's like storm whatever is going to be here, and it's going to be here for the next 3 weeks, just go. Go and be like, okay, we're not dealing with it. It's going to be floods. We're out of it. I don't want to be here. You're in Bali. It's rainy season. Okay, I'm going to move. I'm off. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this live setup course. I hope you enjoyed, you know, all the information that's provided. I think it's something unique. It's something different that you don't really even hear about. You don't ever see. I think we at O&M are the best in the world with live setup. I think us and Nomad Capitalists, but ours is more diverse. I think his is very much just focused on location and business. Ours is across the board. Something we specialize with. If it intrigues you, you want better live setup, O&M Members Club is, I think, personally the best product on the market in this whole industry, and certainly, you know, is destroying every possible competitor. And the plans that we have over the next 5 to 10 years are ridiculous. They're going to happen very soon. The team is outrageous. We've got some of the best people in the world working with us now. And it's going from strength to strength. It's going to be ridiculous. The price is going up to 5K very soon. It's currently 4K. I'm probably going to let another 10 people in at 4K. Then it's going to go to 5. And then we've got something really special for you guys in Europe coming up, specifically the UK potentially. And yeah, it's going to put us on the map big time. So if you love live setup, you've made some good money in your life and you're like, yeah, I've got money, but I don't know what to do with it. We are the leading experts when it comes to live setup. That's why we have a members club. People love what we do. Just look at the vlogs. It's phenomenal. Nobody does it better than us. If you want something organized in terms of lifestyle, I'm your guy. O&M is the company to do it. So yeah, click the link below. Go and see the website and talk to the chatbot. It's a real person. And if you're a serious guy, you're genuinely interested and you think you could add something to this group, we'd love to have a chat with you. But it is application only. So yeah, 4K, the next 10 people I'll let in. I was going to lower it to 8 because 2 people just joined, but you know, you've only just found out about this, so I'll let 10 of you in. If there's 10 quickly, I'll let you in. If there's not, I'll set it to 8 or something like that if it takes a while. But I really want to get this up to 5K. I've given you guys years, 2.5 years to get in there, and it was 2K when we started. And truthfully, a lot of you have just fucked around and it's messed your life up because it's gone from 2K and it'll be 5K soon. It needs to be 5K because it's a 20K a year product. That's how good it is. And with the value we're about to add, it's going to be more like a 50K a year product that we're going to be selling at 5, which I always think you should have 10 times less the price than the value of the product. That was an old Ty Lopez thing. So yeah, guys, like I can't stress this enough. If you don't get in soon, it makes no difference to me. Like I'm trying to help you guys on YouTube. It makes no difference to me. I've got people in the real world and friends of members joining all the time. Like we don't need this. I've just grown up with you guys. I helped you guys from the start. If you've been watching me this long and you've been delaying, just fucking join because it's going to end up being 10K per year soon. And you're going to be sat there going, oh, Chris, can I get it for 3? And I'll be like, what are you talking about? This was like a year ago, 2 years ago when it was this price. Like people who say, I'll join when you have more venues. It's like, that's unfair. You can't do that. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like meeting a girl who's a 6 and she's just joined the gym and you're like, I'll marry you when you're a 10. She's like, I probably won't want you when I'm a 10. Like, you need to bag her when she's a 6. It's fucking stupid. So, you know, if you're going to get in, the time is now. Apply now. Otherwise, when you miss it, I'm just going to be like, yeah, I told you so. You've been outpriced now. We're going to the real world, and we're going to get the guys that are like, because a lot of you, what you do, you don't go and get a job. You try and become an entrepreneur because you think you'll be a brokey if you had a job, but you're broke because you don't have anything going on. We're going to go to guys in the real world, like the lawyers, the finance guys and whatnot. Just go out into the real world, do the ads and stuff. I'm just giving you guys a chance to get in before that happens, but it's very close with the plans we got coming soon. I've given you the opportunity. If you miss it now, guys, I've got no remorse left anymore. I'm just like, well, fuck you. Sorry. Like, it's too late. I've given you 100 opportunities. If you miss it now, then you just fucked your life up. Because, you know, you could have joined for $1,999 2.5 years ago. You believe the scam videos from these retards that make no money, who just sit online all day, just commenting on what other men are doing. What a great life, what a great career. And you believe them. Like, this is what I hate about this kind of industry. And I've almost somewhat turned on the community, because there's a video on like 2.5 years ago, me being a scammer. It's got like 700,000 views. And then I release a vlog on O&M and it will get like 5,000 views. And I'm like, so fuck you. Fuck you, because all of you know about it and you're happy to watch a scam video. But then when an actual successful guy tries to give you an olive branch and tries to help you out, you don't want to watch the video. You hide away from it because it makes you feel insecure because you didn't do the work that I did for those 6 years. Well, okay, fair enough. I'll still make videos. I'll try and help people out because I enjoy it. But you've got a very thin fucking opportunity and it's about to pass you by and you're going to regret it forever. Because every single member that I talk to says I fucked up. I actually inquired a year ago and I didn't join. And when I came back, the price was double. My fault. I took it on the chin and I joined anyway. And it's just like, you could save yourself so much money because you get locked in at that price. But when it goes up, you're going to be fucked. So guys, I've warned you. I've given you 3-4 hours of, well, I don't know how long it is, probably 3 hours of free value. Whatever you choose to do with it, when you get that, because you get that kind of knowledge from living the lifestyle that we live at O&M and that I've lived over the years, that's what it encompasses. And it combines work with the lifestyle. The lifestyle's optional, the work is there. We're going to be doing premises around the world in central cities, in central, you know, the biggest cities in the world, the central locations. We're going to be setting it up like Soho House. We're going to be doing it like Amman Resorts. You know, almost like we work with done professionally with the lifestyle aspects put in, but it will be a members club, not like a desk working space. It will be more like Soho House, and it's nearly there. It's about to explode. And if you don't get on this train now, it's just going to leave you. You're going to be stood at the station going, fuck, now I've been outpriced. Can I really afford 10k per year? I could have got him for 4. You're going to feel like a fucking idiot. So, guys, appreciate you watching. I'll see you all soon.